to beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, home of the Millennial Esports Arena and the 2019 Seattle Seahawks Madden Club Championship. Big George, K. Mike, D. Croft, and Young Kiv are all vying for that belt right there. Yes, you see it. All of these players are trying to become one of the 32 members who will be vying for a prize pool of over $700,000. But enough about that. Let's get to the two best in the business. RG, Scott, let's kick it off.
All right, thank you so much, Rico. It's good to be back with the RG. First time this season, and what a more appropriate place to be than the Seahawks Club.
To everybody for having us back, the Seattle Seahawks. And like you said, their club championship event the last 2 years has been bananas. And they've had the original club championship winner and Killer Mike. A lot of history with the Seattle Seahawks organized players. This is going to be amazing, Scott.
Well, if you're new to the club championship, here is the format. These guys are going to be, they went through a grind to even get here. You got 4 players, 2 on Xbox, 2 on PlayStation, battling to see who's going to be the Seattle Seahawks club champion. And a reminder, this game mode is salary cap, RG.
Yeah, and what that means, Scott, for some of our more casual users is salary cap is a mode in MUT where you're not going to see the original Seattle Seahawks team. You're not going to see Russell Wilson at quarterback. This is a mode where these guys build their own team from scratch, and each player has a cap value. You need to make the players fit in an 1175 cap, and players range from about 10 cap to all the way to Kiv's Mike Vick, which is 128 cap. So there's not only stick skills that are required in this event, there's a lot of GM and roster building that goes into it. So if you see Mike Vick at quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, that's why. This is a mode where they built their roster.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite modes in all of John Madden football because it's true. It's not regs. It's not unlimited MUT. It is sort of, like you said, it's the GM style, this whole thing. Here's the bracket. Mike and Big George will be our semifinal number 1, and then Young Kiv and D. Croft. And if you can look into the crystal ball a little bit, RG, could we have a 3-match, not a rematch, a 3-match between Mike and Kiv? But they got 2 goons to go through first.
Yeah, and what Scott means by that, the third matchup between those two. As we said, the Seahawks have a lot of history in this club. For the last 2 years, Young Kiv and Mike, K. Mike, have met up in the finals of this event. So everyone's expecting it for it to be, the third time. K. Mike currently 2-0 against Young Kiv, but like you said, George, D. Croft, not to be taken lightly, going to be amazing.
We already got $2 grand in your pocket for just showing up to Vegas. If you win this game and move yourself into the final, you're guaranteed $3,000. And if you win the whole thing, $5 grand in your pocket, and you'll be representing the Seattle Seahawks. You can see it's Mike and Big George. Remember, Mike has never lost a club championship game.
And what that means is in 2 years in this club event, Scott, he is 18-0. That actually includes online elimination this year. He is the original winner of the club championship event in Madden 17. He brought the belt back home for the Seahawks. And the reason why he couldn't make it last year, he made it all the way to the final 8 of the club championship last year, couldn't make it to the event due to a work obligation. So technically his only loss ever in this event is a forfeit.
Well, to tell you how this event has grown, it started off with Mike winning about 20 grand 2 years ago. The winner of the whole club championship next week, they'll take home 6 figures, 100 grand to the winner. That's part of a $7,000 prize pool. And this is step 1 for our 4 competitors today. And I can't say enough about the Seattle Seahawks and how much they have been a part of this Madden community. And Big George could have easily went to any other team. He was like, I need this challenge, RG. I want to go out there and prove that I can play with a Mike. I can play with a Kiv.
Yeah, I got to ask George the same thing, Scott. I said, why would you pick the Seattle event? You got Young Kiv, who's a defending Madden 18 champion, probably the number 1 or 2 player in the world the last 2 years. And then you got K. Mike, who's never lost a game in this event. And like you said, he said, I want to test myself. And I also really respect the way the Seattle Seahawks organization does business. I'm a fan of running the ball. I'm a fan of gritty defense. And I'm a huge fan of the 12th man. I don't listen to music. I listen to game sound. And I really wanted to go be a part of the Seahawks event, especially how good their events have been the last 2 years. So George George with a great opportunity to show the Seahawks what he's about and to test himself to see if he truly is one of the best Madden players in the world, Scott.
Well, Mike has a top 30 offense. That's of the 128 players that have qualified for the club championship. He's number 29, and unfortunately for Big George, he has the top 100, right? So he's 100 out of 128 in pass defense. So Big George is really going to have to solidify the back end of that secondary, or it could be a long day for George.
And George's stats, you got a lot of data on him. And for another one for you, Scott, is he has the number 2 most games played on the salary cap ladder. Big George, are you ready for this number, Scott? 721 games played on that salary cap ladder. He's number 2 out of everybody, only behind legend. K. Mike is 53rd with 250 games. So George almost 500 more games than K. Mike on the ladder.
Well, in semifinal number 1, that's just about to get on the way here soon, you have the old heads. They're both 28 years old. And then in semifinal nummer 2, you'll have the 21-year-old Young Gibb. Young Gibb's 21 now? Where have the years gone, RG? And D. Crawford's just 18 years old. So it's going to be a battle between the old school and the new school. But first, we have to get through this game right here with Mike and Big George. Mike, as we mentioned, has never lost a club championship game. He earned a trip to Minnesota last year, couldn't make it because of work obligations. That allowed Goes to get an extra advantage to end up taking this whole thing last year. And here is the club championship for the Seattle Seahawks, and we'll start at the 30-yard line. George is going to have the ball.
And Seattle Seahawks offensive playbook going in the Seattle club using Seattle's offensive playbook. He has the Detroit defense. K. Mike, on the other hand, rocking Cleveland's offense and the Dallas.
Hand it off to Leonard Fournette. He's powered up, but this time he gets powered down, a gain of nothing.
Yeah, and Big George, he's going to have that Mike Vick, and he's going to have that conductor ability, Scott. So that's going to allow him to make quicker hot routes at the line of scrimmage.
So 2nd and 9. They say he got a yard. I didn't see it, but hey, I'm bad at math. You guys already know that. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Just a week away from the club championship in San Francisco. We're going downtown. Tyreek Hill, and knocked away at the last moment. I like the aggressiveness, RG.
I don't know, though, Scott. I saw a crossing route coming wide open over the middle of the field. It looks like George got a little bit greedy. A max protect scheme, 3 routes. He had one of them wide open, went for the gusto instead of a big gain. It's a loss of down, big 3rd and 9 here.
Ball at his own 30. He's going to flip the script. That'll punch the bunch to the right of Johnson, Moss, Amari Cooper.
You got to tell him Mike clicked on his D lineman.
To the.
And that is what happens when you start clicking around on defense. George right there catches K. Mike switching around his defensive players, catches him on his end. That means Mike can't go and work the field. Cooks up a hottie-dottie. Big first down for George.
The man in motion.
Oh,
in all our years, I have never seen that. That was a quick snap almost to Cooper.
Well, that's the only time you see that happen, Scott, and it's terrible, is when you start messing around with motion and snapping the ball while players in motion near the offensive line. It's rare, but it's happened in Madden for a long time. Very unfortunate right there for George. That's not something that happens often.
And there's the heat as Mike sends in Peppers. Jabril Peppers comes in on the sack. You can see him right here in your living room.
Oh, hey, Mike cooks one up, and now George with a big 3rd and 17 gets knocked out of field goal range, Scott. This is a big play, and if you're George, you don't need to just go for the first down right here. It's potentially 2-down territory, or at least look to get yourself in field goal range.
Doesn't need all 17. Quick throw to the outside. There's Hill. You know he's got speed, and that'll probably put him in range. That'll be a 52-yarder from there.
Yep, and I think he's going to take his free. He's going to get the boot out, get some points on the opening possession, and that's huge. If you receive the ball in Madden, Scott, oh, he might have missed the kick. It's close.
There's Elliott. It took every bit of his leg to get that one through. Not the strongest kicker in the league, but that'll be enough to get it done. So on his opening drive, 3 points, and now it'll be K. Mike's opportunity. Fournette off his helmet, and he'll just lay down at the 31.
That was a nice opening drive for Big George, a.k.a. George Douglas, 28 years old from Memphis, Tennessee. But now he has to deal with the offense of K-Mike. We've said it a bunch of times, Scott. He has never lost a game in this event. And just to give you perspective on some of the guys he's beat in club championship play over the years, it's cream of the crop type players, Scott. Kerry Q, Silent Soldier, Young Kiv, the Great True Boy, Misery, FMB Monster. The list goes on. Voltarex. The list goes on and on, Scott. So he has beaten elite level competition multiple times in this event.
1st and 10 now at the 31. Mike's first time with the rock. In the pocket, and what a throw. Cross midfield to the 42-yard line. Aaron Rodgers dialing it up.
And that's the legend, Dallas Clark, that he slangs it to right over the middle to the tight end. A big gain in the pocket presence right there. Scott was immaculate. Mike picking up right where he left off in club championship play last year.
Well, you know how big Dallas Clark was for Peyton Manning over those years. Take a look at it again. Dallas Clark going up and coming in with the grab. You can see we're locked in. We're locked in. I can't take my eyes off the screen.
Oh, he's got room. And here's the thing, Scott, that I want to call out. K-Mike, spinning is a big part of the meta in Madden right now. A lot of people like the truck. They like the steerable spin and get nasty in the open field. K-Mike plays on a conservative ball carrier coaching adjustment, which reduces his chance at fumbles, but it doesn't allow him to try special moves like the truck or the spin. So don't expect to see him spinning in the open field because he's on that conservative ball carrier. He says he stays on it all game, Scott.
2 hands for safety as Coleman picks up 4. Jerry Rice off to the left, to the right. He's got Johnson, Moss, and Dallas Clark. Keeps Clark in the block. Somehow gets it away.
Oh,
He throws a
Gibson!
pick. Perfect timing as Rod Woodson, right at the goal line, pulls it in and takes it out to the 4-yard line. Huge turnover.
Don't click on by Big George, and he makes the big play that he needed. What can he do on offense?
We saw him use this play earlier, picked up 7 yards. This time picks up 11 and a first down. That's going to be a play that Mike's going to have to respect at some point. It is wide open.
Oh, man. And yeah, Mike is leaving those flats open, but a lot of Madden players will do that, Scott. They'll make you beat them with that underneath stuff, not give up the big play. The question is he patient enough to take it all the way up the field and then make the read when Mike does adjust to put a hard flat out there? Will he go to that second level? It's a chess game going on.
He gets out of the shadow of his own end zone for a moment. 1st and 10 at the 15. And Fournette fumbling, stumbling, and not fumbling to the 26-yard line with a big fella.
It came down to the last play in his online elimination game where he had to make a goal line stand against Astro Dots to make it here. I bet Astro Dots just jumped up in his seat a little bit. Sorry we didn't see you here. George told us how tough you were. It was a big game, but he said it literally came down to that last one, so he's just happy to be here. It's been a grind the whole way through.
Well, the former LSU Tiger, Leonard Fournette, picks up 9 yards there. He's averaging 7 yards a carry. 3 carries for 21 yards for Leonard Fournette.
How about that, Scott? You got to play a guy named Astro Dots to make it. I see a name like Astro Dots. I'm getting a little nervous. I'm assuming your passing attack's pretty good.
2nd and 1 now. Gonna put Cooper off on the left side of the bunch.
2nd and 1 is a good time sometimes to take a shot play, Scott. Assuming you could run it on 3rd or 4th. No, he goes conservative.
Pick up the first down, and he's controlled the clock here in this opening quarter. On his first drive, went down, he got a field goal, but was able to come up with an INT with his own 5 and has battled his way out here to the 36-yard line. 1st and 10.
Look at George coming up to this line of scrimmage, Scott. One thing about George's team that was interesting to me too, Scott, is a lot of players, when you're building salary cap, there's a thing called chemistry where you want to get the sprinter chem, which gives you extra speed, or the route chem. George didn't use any of those chemistries. He has players all subbed out of position. It's a very unique lineup that I didn't see a lot of other competitors make a roster with that type of style. So I didn't know if it was going to work against him, but so far so good for him. The only chemistries he has, Scott, is the conductor, the playmaker on his Calvin Johnson, and the deep route specialist on Moss. No other chems on his team.
And we saw a lot of powered-up players being used by a lot of our competitors in the club championship. George didn't go as deep as he could have gone in some of those powered-ups. Obviously, Michael Vick is a big part of his offense.
Well, the key that you want to use the power-ups for, Scott, is because you can put the chemistry onto them a lot. They are applicable to take almost any chemistry, but since George doesn't use chemistry at all, he didn't worry about the power-ups much. He just went and found default players that just fit his scheme and plugged them in wherever. I believe he has a left tackle playing, but it's not going to allow him to take advantage of those chemistries. But hey, whatever.
George uses a timeout to set some audibles, and there's that play again, Tyreek Hill, and this time it's good for 13.
You said it, Scott. He's just continuing to check down to that flat route, and I think Mike's going to let him do that until he gets down to the red zone, because you can continue to check down to those flats, but once you get down there, it gets very stingy. The field starts to shorten up, and you're going to have to make a play. Let's see if Mike continues to give him that.
Boy, just chewing up this clock here in the first half. Only a 3-point deficit, though, for Mike. He's out to the 50-yard line now for Big George. And, you know, when we were talking to him, play a little semi-pro ball on the offensive line. He's a big guy. You knew he was going to come with a little bit of a running attack here. Anybody that plays offensive line, I don't care if it's JV, high school, college level, semi-pro, you know you're going to run the football. Linemen love to run the football.
They love to run the football. He says he was a left tackle, Scott. The way he described his gameplay, I'll tell you right after this play, as he checks to the flat again. The way he described his game as a football player, Scott, he says, I'm what they call a finesse lineman. I open up holes. It's about finesse and footwork. That was the quote I got from him to describe his game style.
Well, my mouth was watering when he was talking about Memphis, Tennessee, and getting out there getting some hot wings.
I asked him what his favorite meal was. He said, I love chicken, I love hot wings. If you're ever in Memphis, you got to hit all-star hot wings, Scott. So we know what we got to do during the draft.
I'm okay. I would never turn down a trip to Memphis. A little smoky barbecue sauce. Fournette.
He did say those all-star hot wings were the truth. And I like how they call them hot wings and not buffalo wings.
You know, I spend quite a bit of time in Seattle year over year doing some work, and really enjoy Seattle as a town. So progressive, so smooth. Get a little seafood, get a head down to the market.
I mean, they got their beautiful stadium, CenturyLink Field, the home of the 12th man, the home of the Seahawks.
I've been there a couple times, seen a couple games. Been the guest of Doug Baldwin a time or two. And on second and 8, there's Moss.
That's a huge play right there, Scott.
That's all the way down to the 16-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 16. Ed Reed had to make the touchdown-saving tackle.
And I like what George is doing here, Scott. He's mixing up his formations. He goes to some gun-tight slots, some single-back deuce close, a little gun bunch, constantly mixing up the looks. He's in the deuce close right now.
Something Kerry Q certainly had made a strong formation over the years. Big shout out to Kerry Q. And Fournette will get a yard. So 8 carries for 29 yards for Fournette, but that's keeping Mike honest.
Yeah, and let's be real here. Things are about to get very important in this red zone right now. If Mike can hold George to 3, Scott, that's going to be huge for his chances to win this game. But if George can go in and get this touchdown and make it 2 possessions, he's really going to have Mike's back up against the ropes. This is a huge possession going on right now, Scott.
Mike has won over $32,000 in his Madden career. And Big George, remember last year he was the Titans runner-up. Came up a bit short there in Tennessee. We mentioned he's from Memphis, and he wanted this challenge. This is where he wanted to be. He chose to be with the Seahawks. And you mentioned he pushes it in here. We could have a 2-score game. Very important 3rd and 9 here for both our competitors.
It's a huge play, Scott. Biggest play of the game so far.
Right at the 2-minute warning, ball on the 15. Vick has time, has a man.
Moss!
Randy Moss.
Randy Dandy Moss, Scott, gets him with the high ball, gonna jump up in traffic, still hold on to the ball. When you're a 97, 98 overall player, those are the types of plays you can make, and this is why you have him on the field. That height in the red zone to that high ball is so important. If you're not throwing high balls in the red zone in Madden, I don't know what you're doing.
A cover two that he laid right between the corner and the safety, and we got a 10-0 ball game here.
I mean, this is huge. I mean, Mike's a big favorite going into this game, and for George to be up 10-0 right now, he really is doing what he said he wanted to set out to do, is prove he is one of the best in the world, and so far, so good for Big George. How is Mike going to respond?
This is just semifinal number one. We got Young Kiv and D. Croft in the new school battle between the 21-year-old Kiv and the 18-year-old D. Croft. Both our competitors right here, Mike and Big George, 28 years old. In Madden years, they might as well be 60. Second and 9, and nearly picked off.
The high-level stick work all around right there, Coltrane. Amazing pocket right there for Mike, but then George with a phenomenal click on to jump in front of that route and almost pick it off.
Of course, Mike working out of Spokane, Washington, in the Air Force there. Holding down his command post, but right now he certainly needs to go to the air because he's trailing by 10.
And he's in a 4th and 19 with a huge sack from Big George, and he's gonna go for this. Mike's going for it. Keep in mind, he had a 4th and 22 in overtime last year when he needed to beat Young Kiv, and he was able to get it. Does he have that type of magic right now here, Scott? This is huge.
70 seconds to go in the half, trailing by 10, 4th down.
Good pocket.
Rodgers throws it up top.
Gonna be close.
And hauled in. All the way down at the 16-yard line. It's a bomb for Rodgers.
Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson makes the huge play on 4th and 17, and I don't think I've ever seen K-Mike not convert one of those 4th and long, Scott. He's got ice in his veins in that situation. The pocket, the poise, and the touch on that pass right there, amazing.
26.
Bunches it back up.
Go over here.
There's some motion. And the delay, but doesn't fool Big George. Let's take it this bomb again from Rodgers to Ocho.
Watch this pocket presence. Steps up. Not a lot of players do that, and then throws a nice touch pass. It's going to be close, but Ocho has to step. When you have a positional advantage like that, your success chance at the catch goes way up, and Mike reaped those benefits right there.
There's the flats once again. This time to Ocho. And you got to be careful here. Yeah, he's got to call a timeout. You got 3 in your pocket, 2 left. Now only 12 seconds. Maybe a play or 2 or 3. 3 if you're lucky. I think this is a 2-play situation.
The important thing more than any of it, Scott, is that he comes away with points right here because he gets the ball at halftime to make it a 1-possession game, getting the ball back. You're in a position to take control of the game, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to come away with the points here.
Empty backfield here on 3rd and 3. Quick throw, and he'll drop it, and maybe that's a good thing.
He's going to kick the 3. You have to take your 3 here, Mike.
He's thinking about it. A little mental pretzel time for Mike. Oh, my. Up, and it is good. As you mentioned, he's going to get the... And you got to be careful here. Yeah, he's got to call a timeout. You got 3 in your pocket, 2 left. Now only 12 seconds. Maybe a play or 2 or 3. 3 if you're lucky. I think this is a 2-play situation.
The important thing more than any of it, Scott, is that he comes away with points right here because he gets the ball at halftime to make it a 1-possession game, getting the ball back. You're in a position to take control of the game, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to come away with the points here.
Empty backfield here on 3rd and 3. Quick throw, and he'll drop it, and maybe that's a good thing.
He's going to kick the 3. You have to take your 3 here, Mike.
He's thinking about it. A little mental pretzel time for Mike. Oh, my. Up, and it is good. As you mentioned, he's going to get the ball on the other side of the half here, so take your 3. Josh Scobie would be upset with us. Get that three. You don't have to settle.
You get three, you don't take it.
And now we'll have one play here for George. And you've seen a lot of our competitors laying down on those kickoffs. They know disaster can happen when those guys with not as strong as a high carry rating go down there and get popped by a hit stick.
Yeah, and especially with 3 seconds left.
Well, Fournette,
Yeah,
he's had a good first half, and that's how our first half will come to a close. 10-3, George with the lead, but RG is about to kick off to that man on the near side of your screen, Mike. Well, when's he going to go back to Doug Zilla? That's the big question.
Hey, that was his name. His name on the ladder is All Is Good, but he spells is with a Z and good with a U in it. If you do that backwards, it's Doug Zilla, which was his gamer tag all the way back in Madden 07 when I used to run into him on the online ladders. He's been around for a long time, Coltrane. A lot of experience from this young man killer.
No, he hauls it in at the 26. Easy, Larry.
Thank goodness.
Pulls it in down at the 26-yard line as Randy Moss with his first grab for 32 yards.
Big play right there by Mike. And the three playmaker scheme is interesting, Scott. You have to spend a lot of cap to put that playmaker ability on the receivers. He has it on all three of these receivers in the bunch. And what I like about that is that's not a game plan that you're going to be able to practice or prepare with often because it's so unique to his style. And when I say playmaker receiver, what I mean is that's an ability on the receivers to when the play breaks down, you can move the right stick to change their direction quickly. And when you have that ability, they are very crisp and responsive to that command.
Clean pocket, and it's Ocho Cinco once again to the 16. Going to pin on the spot here, and they're going to make it 3rd and short. Inches to go here in the red zone.
Big play right here for Mike. You got to assume maybe some QB sneak right here, a toss. You assume he's going to come out in that goal line formation, though. 3rd and inches on the goal line. You just need a little bit of yards right now. You usually let the quarterback keep it. The problem is a guy with like Big George with 750 games under his belt, he may have some sneak D.
And he's going to go the outside here. It's going to be a touchdown for Mike.
What stick work, Scott. You know your opponent's keying in on the sneak or the toss. You go with a power O type of run right where you're supposed to, in between the tackles, get yourself 7. Look at this, boom, boom. Textbook right there, Scott. Now we got ourselves a 10-10 ball game, and this is a battle.
That's a gutsy call. I'll be honest with you. They go to the outside. It takes so much time to set up that blocking. But it worked out. We got a tie ball game.
Yeah, you're right. You don't see that often. The key is usually, like we said, the sneak or the toss. Mike's obviously practiced that before. It looked way too good, Scott. But again, it could have been a risky call had it not worked out.
This might come down to who has the ball last. First opportunity of the second half for Big George. Michael Vick, the lefty, will let it fly. The man's wide open. That's Moss. Behind the defense, still has it. And pushed out of bounds at the 23-yard line.
And I like what George did right there. Instead of going for the possession catch, because it looked like the ball was a little bit high, it might have went over his head, he goes for the aggressive catch right here. Look at that. Boom, goes up, doesn't let the ball go over his head, breaks the tackle on his horse, back in field goal range. George continues to do work on offense.
Well, he scored 10 unanswered to start the game. Mike's come back with 10 unanswered of his own. 1st and 10 for the 23 for Big George. And he'll hand it off to Leonard Fournette, who's got room. He'll run over a guy. Touchdown, Big George.
Big George with the big truck. That was a grown man run, Scott, and doesn't only get himself in field goal range, turns it into 7 in the red zone with that run. And he has Memphis, Tennessee going crazy right now. He said the entire city's going to be watching. Gee, I'm the problem of my city when it comes to Madden. His boy Godson has the watch party going on. They got to be going crazy in Memphis right now for the big fella.
Well, it's going to be Mike's opportunity to answer here. Down a touchdown. 2:45 to go in the third. Ball to the 35-yard line. This is just semifinal number 1. I told you, this is the reason we're always coming out here and doing the Seattle Seahawks Club Championship, because it's going to be bananas.
Oh, I've seen how the Seahawks done business the last 2 years, Scott. Their events has always been amazing. And I said, when they said, RG, do you want to do any of the clubs coming up? I said, I would love the opportunity to do the Seahawks. I mean, any franchise where your 12th man per se sets the record for loudest crowd noise in a sporting event history, and you do it twice in 1 year, you got to pay homage to an organization like that.
There's Jerry Rice, the GOAT, to the 41-yard line.
Let's go, come on.
Boy, they're going to make this second in inches. Might as well call it an inch. I mean, they have marked that right on the yard to gain. Might see him take a shot here. If he doesn't hand it off to Coleman, we might see him take a shot. 2 deep safeties. Scrambling.
There's that playmaker.
Has him along the sideline. Has him along the sideline and just couldn't set his feet.
And I love what George did right there, Scott. He had someone manned up on the wide receiver coming for the far left. So when Mike tried to playmaker him up in that sweet spot of the field, the man defender stayed with him. Man coverage is the key to stopping playmakers. If everyone just wants to sit into zone, those guys are going to be able to find holes. That was a beautiful adjustment by Big George right there.
Boy, tons of cushion in the cover, too. Ends up checking it down. There's that playmaker ability. As he playmakers Ocho Cinco to the outside, you can see him throw that hand up, change direction, and picks up the first down.
Yeah, Mike's walking up the field right now. George is going to have to make a play on defense. Mike looking mighty comfortable.
Jabril Peppers on the tackle. It's a new set of downs here for Mike. Rodgers looking to the end zone.
Oh!
And he'll fall harmlessly to the turf. Great job getting over there with the user late.
Misread by Mike. If you see the replay come up, he had a guy coming wide open over the across the middle, just missed him, went for the gusto. Had about a 15, 20-yard gain, though, right over the middle that he missed out on.
Well, he had beat the free safety.
There it is again.
But he didn't see Rod Woodson, who made the play, and now it's Randy Moss. There's another playmaker. He's in the red zone.
That's 2 plays in a row, though, Scott. He's missed the guy running for big yardage right over that middle on that deep cross route.
See how much cushion George has in this cover, too. And almost picked off. That is a tight window,
you know,
to Golden Tate.
They say as you get older, your stick work isn't as good, but George, at 28 years old, he's clicking on and trying to make these interceptions, and his reaction time on these click-ons is extremely fast and extremely impressive right now, Scott.
Less than a minute left in the third. 2nd and 8 now. Mike trailing by 7 with the ball. Here's the motion, and they're going to run it.
Wow.
Boy, they brought Tate over to try to pick up that blitzing linebacker, but he didn't get the block. Jones comes through. But Jones is tough, real tough.
Oh, he is on a lot of the salary cap teams, Scott. He is a very fast middle linebacker that can make a ton of plays. He's low cap. He has some hit power. You'll see him on a lot of lineups.
3rd and 11. We are in salary cap mode. Represent the Seattle Seahawks here. Who's going to move on to the final? Will it be Big George or Mike? Kevin Decroft coming up next. Rodgers trying to extend the play.
Missed the dive tackle.
And
Moss
comes up with a touchdown. Oh, user error there for George.
Game of inches, Scott.
Boy, Vic Beasley, RG, had him dead to rights.
Take a look at it. You're going to see George click on and try to make a play and just messes the dive and then goes to strip and messes that up. I'm paying homage about his stick work. And that was a debacle right there by George as the play broke down. But for Mike, that was huge to buy time, stay poised, get a high ball to Moss, give him a chance to make a play in the red zone just like he did for George. And this is just an even back and forth matchup, Scott.
I told you at halftime, it might be about who has it last. Both our competitors well over 200 yards now.
Gosh, it's good to be back.
1st and 10 at the 25. Well, we got a full load of games next week, RG. We're going to be up at the brand new EA Studios, the home of Madden out in San Francisco there at Redwood at the headquarters.
Oh, I love it.
I'm juiced for that.
When you have a $700,000 prize pool, there's going to be 8 people at least that are going to be $20,000 richer. We're going to have a new club champion, every NFL's team representative. It's what it's all about, Scott. It's what I live for.
Well, I think that's worth noting here on the final play of the third. As Vic is looking, he's going to, oh boy, overthrow there as he's using his legs. And that'll put us in the 4th quarter. Put your forwards up. But what I was saying is, Killer Mike won this 2 years ago and took home 20 grand as the winner. This year's winner will take home 100 grand. You mentioned you finished 8th. You're taking home more than Killer Mike took home 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And the reason for that being, Scott, is this year the club championship event has the highest payout structure of all MCS events this year, which puts the extra pressure on players in this event. Talking with Kiv, he said that same exact thing. He said, gee, I won the 100,000 last year, but it wasn't in this event. This year, this event is so important. There's a lot of pressure. It's bigger than ever, and this is the one you got to come out and show out in. It's where the majority of the money is.
And you ask why. Well, first of all, you have 128 players, right? We start with 100. We start with well more than that, but 128 players make it to each of the 32 teams. That's 4 times 32. Even I could do that math.
Boom.
But Kiv is saying, hey, you got to win 9 single elimination games in a row to take home the 100 grand. That's going to be wild next week.
I can't win 9 games in a row against random Joe Schmoes online. Might as well elite level competitions. So
I can lose 9 in a row. I'm pretty good at that.
This is a hard event to win, Scott. It's going to be very well deserved for whoever secures that bag.
2nd and 1. Opening seconds here, the 4th. Mike with an opportunity to drive down and take the lead. It'll be his first lead of the game. He started out down 10-0, but able to answer it back before the half, and now we're tied at 17.
Yeah, George really didn't able to get anything going on that last drive, and for the first time all game, like you said, K-Mike has the ball with the chance to take the lead, and these are the situations we've seen him clutch up in time and time again. If you're George, you really got to bring your best defensive stand you got on this possession.
Looking.
Oh, he's
Rodgers.
got him. Wide
open. One-handed grab for Ocho Cinco.
He's got Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and Ocho Cinco as his 3 wide receivers in this bunch 11 personnel, Scott. If you give him time like this, eventually those guys are going to get open, especially with those playmakers. Mike with a surgical read right there and gets the lead for the first time in this ball game. And now George is really going to have to ask himself, is he willing to step up and prove that he can hang with the best? Because it comes down to this drive for him right now. It isn't all on this drive, Scott, but this is a big one for him.
And I love the late, great Sean Taylor, and I think he may be one of the best free safeties of all time. But he got turned around on that last play and well behind the post route of Ocho Cinco. Here's Amari Cooper. It went from the Raiders to the Cowboys, and boy, did that re-spark his season and his career.
Goodness. So George is staying in this bunch, Scott. He really likes this formation. He had 2 guys open, but he missed it.
9 of 14 there now for Vic.
I was going to say, Scott, it looked like the streak on the right side of the screen had a step on his receiver. It's easy for me to play couch coach in the back, where it's much harder to make those reads when you're on the sticks. But it looks like another missed opportunity for the big guy. Oh, he sent the house.
Fournette. This reminds me, this team that George has set up as he goes to a hurry up here on 3rd and 2, and you know how I feel about the hurry up. Usually never works out, but I think he saw something he liked, and Tyreek will get the first down. What I was going to say, obviously we're playing salary cap mode, and you build your own team. This reminds me of some of those championship Seahawks teams where you got a fast guy just like Russell Wilson and Michael Vick. You got a big-time running back in Fournette. That reminds me of beast mode. And then you're working the underneath routes like, you know, to Tyreek Hill, much like they did with Doug Baldwin. That was a key to success, and I think that Big George is using that to his advantage here, but he's trailing by a touchdown.
The pocket, oh, not enough. And how about Mike Scott? There's Shaquem Griffin.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, a little Seattle Seahawks love right there. But how about Mike rocking a little 4-3 defense? We're so used to guys running the nickel and the dollars. Mike comes out with his own flavor in this 4-3 scheme and has himself back into the game. And I love when you see players do that. Throw something at your opponent that's outside of the meta that they may not expect, and that's what we're seeing Mike do right now.
2nd and 16.
Sending them.
Gets it out to Amari, and that'll get half of it back to the 37-yard line. Field goal cannot be in your mind here. This is 4-down situation. You're going down here with an opportunity to maybe force overtime.
Yeah, he's got 3 timeouts, but that clock is against him. We're about to hit the 2-minute warning here in the 4th quarter.
I'm not sure I don't hit the 2-minute warning here.
I think he's going to snap.
Gets it off just before.
Playmaker.
Vick will go to his natural left, and he'll just throw it away, and there's the 2-minute warning.
That was a good throw away right there by George. He didn't want to force anything, but now he gets...
But why not hit? I mean, maybe he saw something he liked here, but, hey, use that 2-minute warning because now you're down to maybe your last opportunity here, 4th and 5, here from the 37-yard line.
Well, that's why he wanted to snap the ball real quick before that 2-minute to get the play off, but he gets himself in this predicament right here, Scott, 4th and 5. This is a huge play.
Bunch to the left. He's got Tyreek Hill in at tight end. Hasn't used him a lot from that formation. Let's see what he does here. Hill coming across. He's looking. And that's who he'll find on a little playmaker.
Oh, my goodness. What a huge play on 4th and 5 for Big George.
That was risky.
Oh, my goodness. He needed it so bad right there, and he got it. And you saw on that playmaker, it took Hill a little longer to cut up that field. That's because he doesn't have that playmaker ability that lets him react to that command immediately.
To the flat. This is what's worked for him.
This is an impressive drive.
Sean Taylor coming up, making the play. But, you know, what he's hoping is just for one big play out of that. One missed tackle, or can he use his speed to get to the outside? Hasn't happened yet, but it's been a great play. Gaining him an average of 12 yards.
I'll tell you, the way George is running this tight slots.
Vick has a man wide open.
Do you see what he's doing, Scott? He's coming out in the tight slots all game, and then an audible to bunch tight end, and it's allowing him to get a wide receiver in that tight end position. And that's just going to be very hard for the defense to deal with. That's not something you deal with every day, and that's a very unique scheme and way to run bunch that we're seeing from Big George. That's phenomenal lab work by him.
Mike uses a timeout here. He's feeling that he's going to
ball back. It's double heights. Oh, no! Oh, no, it's just like the Super Bowl, Scott, on the 1 or 2 yard line. They go to pass and start giving it to Leonard Fournette, who's been trucking people like beast mode all game long. It's deja vu.
I got to see this again. You're right. It's the double A.
It's the double A, Scott. He accidentally meant to do some sort of adjustment using the A button, but then he snapped it and pressed A again right away. If you're a Madden player, you've done that before, and you know that it stinks, but that is rough for Big George.
2nd and 10 here. George uses his first time out. I mean, if you can force a punt back here.
You're still in it. This isn't over. It's going to come down to this right here, Scott. 3rd and 6. This will determine if he's going to get the ball back or if Mike's going to advance to his 3rd championship game in a row in the Seattle Seahawks Club Championship event.
Here it is, 3rd and 6. He's going to go to the air. Rodgers looking downfield. It's clutch. How clutch? It's Dougzilla.
Dougzilla,
Mike.
a.k.a. Mike, a.k.a. All is Good, a.k.a. 19-0 in club championship games. AKA the two-time Seahawks champion in his third club championship game. I am just so impressed by young K. Mike. But we got to say hats off to Big George too, Scott.
Oh, he fought.
He fought hard. He came in. He has no reason to hang his head down. I mean, it was one mistake that really cost him right there at the end.
No, victory formation, and that's what it'll be. For Mike, you mentioned. All smiles for him.
Look at them. Those are two classy guys right there. George is classy as it gets. He was one of my favorite interviews I got to talk to. He was a great guy, phenomenal competitor. He really enjoys competing in Madden. He really enjoys playing the game. And we'll see him continuing to come back and do his thing. But for this game right now, it's all about K. Mike going to his third championship game in a row, Scott.
Well, Mike has done his part. The question is, will Kiv be able to do his part on the other side? Unbelievable. I don't know where he keeps the horseshoe, but that K. Mike, when he needs a big play, he always gets it.
And this is what he'll tell you, Scott. He says salary cap, the mode we're playing in, is the mode he is most comfortable about. He's not comfortable in regs, doesn't like to play mud traps. So he said all his eggs are in this basket in this salary cap event. And as you can see, he played like it right there. Left it all out on the field, finds himself in another championship.
Let's take a look at the highlights here from semifinal number 1 as Mike once again clutches up. He was down 10-0 in this game. 10-0 before he started coming back here. Let's take a look at it from the get-go. You saw that big high ball there, and
this was
this
fourth
is huge.
And 19,
huge.
4th and 19. You could almost put him away right there, and he's able to make a big play like that.
And how big was that missed tackle? Maybe some errors are going to come back to haunt Big George, and there's another wide open one-hand grab there by Ocho Cinco.
And this is it right there. This is the devastating play, the double tap A scum. It's a staple of a pain point that Madden players have always dealt with, but when it does happen, it is often user error, and that's one that George is going to have to think about for a long time. But again, if you're George, keep your head up, man. You're a phenomenal player. You're a phenomenal person. You have a great place in this community, and I can't wait to see you back.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted this challenge. He was a runner-up last year in Tennessee, wanted to come back, wanted to prove he belongs. But it's Mike, once again, you mentioned 19-0 in club championship games. He's done his part. The question is now, can young Kiv do his part against D. Croft? We have that coming up just after the break here, guys. It's going to be young Kiv taking on D. Croft in semifinal number 2. Don't go anywhere.
The Pro Shop is the official store of the Seattle Seahawks and your source for the largest selection of authentic Seahawks gear for men, women, and kids. Shop one of 4 Puget Sound Pro Shop locations or shop online anytime at Seahawks.com.
Sit. Good girl. We're here with the 3 Great Danes. We have to have 3 of them, of course. I love the number 3, so I've always wanted to have 3 Great Danes. But this one's the oldest one, Prince, right here. I got him my rookie year. This is Naomi. I got her right after the Super Bowl. I call her my supermodel. She's super tall. And then we have Hero, who's only 8 months old. He's the young pup, but he's gonna be the biggest one. They all feel like they're brothers and sisters, that's for sure. They're WWE wrestlers. They like wrestling each other. That's pretty much what they do for fun most of the day. If the Great Danes played football, I think they'd be defensive linemen. They're really fast, edge rushers for sure. We always try to travel with them, so whenever we're going somewhere for more than a week or whatever, we try to bring them with us, and that's always fun, just to bring 3 huge Great Danes on the road. Sit. Sit. Good girl. I think the best thing about, having dogs is, every time you come home, they welcome you, and there's nothing more than that. They're the most amazing dogs in the world, so I highly recommend Great Danes if anybody wants one. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and my dogs. Got the 3 Great Danes. You know how we do. Go Hawks.
Your fiber internet's all set up. Things are gonna be different.
This speed! We don't have to fight anymore. TV, you can stream 4K.
While you monitor everything in HD.
Fridge, you can...
Short-read videos. Magnifique.
Epic! Lag is virtually toast.
The bandwidth war is over.
Get the house power to fuel your digital world with CenturyLink Fiber Internet. Switch today at CenturyLink.com/housepower.
And welcome back to the Millennial Sport Esports Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Half of our bracket is filled for the Seattle Seahawks Club Championship. K-Mike moved on in an amazing battle, but right now, right here, D. Croft and Young Kiv are going to battle it out to see who'll be facing him in the finals. We've talked, but now we're ready for play. Guys, take it on home.
All right, thanks, Rico. Scott Cole and RG back with you, and you can see K-Mike punching his ticket to the final. That means the old head match is over. So Big George eliminated. Now it's going to be the youngsters. Young Kiv, D. Croft. But when you say that Kiv is only 21 years old, this is a guy that's played a ton of John Madden football, especially his experience compared to D. Croft.
Oh, you want to talk about experience? How about Young Kiv has made over $178,000 in the last 2.5 years playing some John Madden football. So fair to say he's got quite a bit of experience, huh, Scott?
Yeah, and well, we're all wondering, are we going to get the rematch for the 3rd year in a row? Is it going to be Mike and Kiv? But the youngster D. Croft is going to have something to say about that in this ball game. This is a guy that, when we talked to him last night, he was really not, he wasn't concerned that he was going up against the champ.
Yeah, no, he is a diehard Seahawks fan, so he said, no matter what, I was well aware that Kiv was in this event. I was well aware that Mike was in this event, but I wasn't going to let them bully me. He's a young 18-year-old former athlete who had to start playing Madden due to injury, and when talking to this young man, Scott, it is very apparent that he knows how to play this game on a high level and is prepared very, very well for this event, and specifically Young Kiv.
Well, how Seattle can you get here, D. Croft? He's got a little flannel shirt underneath the jersey. A little throwback to the grunge of the 90s. I mean, both these guys, obviously not too far away from Seattle. They're their favorite teams, they're their hometowns. And sometimes we overlook that, of how important it is for these guys to win these ball games and represent their favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks. Semifinal number 2, it is Young Kiv, D. Croft. Who is going to face Mike in the final? That's the question right now. Will it be that man on the left, D. Croft, or Kiv, who's, man, D. Croft's just a tall guy, man. I'm looking at the difference here. D. Croft sitting up tall, and then Kiv is sort of relaxed.
Let me give you a little backstory on my guy, D. Croft. He's currently a senior in high school at Archbishop Murphy High School. Very good high school, good sports teams. The whole football team back there is watching him and supporting him. But D. Croft, oh, you saw a little thing for Kiv right there.
Yeah, Kiv's the reigning champ.
He's the reigning champion.
Sure.
It's a pretty good thing to mention. But the thing with D. Croft, this is a former soccer player. He is a very high-level soccer player. He even had a tryout out in England at the age of 15 years old. He had a massive injury that has sidelined him for the last 2 years, but he wasn't bitter about it at all. He said, you know what, G? When one door closes, another one opens up. I've met a lot of good friends through Madden. I've had a lot of great experiences, and now I have a chance to represent those Seattle Seahawks, my favorite team, the team I grew up watching. He couldn't be more pumped about it. The favorite thing he told me is when he told his mom, he told Debbie, Mama Croft, Ma, I won $2,000 in a trip to Vegas to go represent the Seattle Seahawks in a club event. Her reaction was, Daniel, what scam did you get caught up in? She didn't even believe that this was happening. Well, guess what, Mama Croft? It's happening. Your son is going up against last year's #1 player in the world, and this is going to be a phenomenal matchup.
Of course, he was here in Vegas for the Classic. Got his beak wet a little bit to get ready, but nothing can really prepare you to play Young Kiv.
Oh, man, Young Kiv has just been one of the best players for the last 2 or 3 years. And when I say best player, Scott, I don't mean top 10, top 1, 2, or 3 type of player. He is the cream of the crop when it comes to elite Madden players. And the thing that's funny is he's qualified for every one of our events that you could qualify for in his Madden career, except the club championship, because he's lost in the Seahawks final to K-Mike 2 years in a row. Here's his chance to get over the hump.
Well, Decroft will have it first. Quick throw there from Vick. And Moss will move it to the 48-yard line. So 2nd and 3, just shy of midfield. As you see them getting all their audibles, getting all their substitutes ready. This is a huge opening try for Decroft. Can't afford to go down early to Kiv.
And you're going to see Decroft in this gun trip tight end formation, Scott. He's very comfortable in it, and he said one of the reasons he likes this formation so much is that inside zone right there. He feels it's much easier to run the ball out of this trip tight end than it is like a gun bunch type formation. So he said expect the inside zone to get busy, and as you saw it getting a little bit busy early on right there.
Well, Brian Dawkins just saved a touchdown run, and Fournette was almost gone. Just like that, already down to the 38-yard line. Back again with Fournette. So back-to-back runs, 2 carries for 19 yards, and he's got a 2nd and 4 from the 32.
I'm talking to Kiv last night. He said he is comfortable in this Decroft matchup. Decroft played in one other live event in his career. That was the Madden Classic earlier this season. And Kiv's boy Canes was the one that beat Croft in the playoff to that tournament. And Kiv said he did discuss with Canes what Croft likes to do on offense, and he does feel very prepared for this gun trips tight end scheme.
2nd and 4. Another quick throw.
Oh, good spin!
Oh, baby! Touchdown, Decroft!
Wow. Young 18-year-old in his first club event comes out on the opening drive against the defending champion, the dominant young Kiv, and you just put together 7, no big deal on the opening drive. Got to be feeling good.
If you look at Kiv's rankings, he's top 5 against the run and the pass, but he looked pretty silly on this opening drive.
Oh, man, what a drive right there by Decroft. And I'm telling you, after talking to Decroft, Scott, a lot of people were counting him out. I've been saying it, that this is going to be a tough game for Kiv. It is so apparent how prepared he is. He's watched so much tape on Kiv. He's laughed with some of the best bunch players there are, like Pavan. He is entrenched in the community. Though a lot of people might not know his name, don't be surprised if you remember it after this game right here, because he is definitely one of the better young up-and-comers that we have.
If you come out here and beat young Kiv, that's all you need to put. You're just one game you can get so much respect. You want to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. Here's young Kiv with Vick, and there's some pressure.
Oh, scream. And this is going to be interesting, Scott, because Kiv, out of everyone on the ladder, had the number 11 pass offense, but Decroft's defensive pass defense was ranked 115 out of 128. So Decroft not too good at defending the pass, but right here you wouldn't see that from this replay as he just screamed right off the edge and got the Kiv up.
So 2nd and 19, back all the way up to the 16. Looking downfield is Kiv. Decides to drop it off to Sharp. He'll get to the 21-yard line. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 14.
It's a big play. When you see that blue flicker under Kiv's quarterback, that means he has the gunslinger ability. It helps him get more power on his throws, less of a windup, and more velocity.
Gunslinger and conductor for that juiced up Michael Vick.
Yep, that's as juiced as you can get a quarterback with gunslinger and conductor. Here's Mike Vick.
Oh, wow.
Wow, what a dot.
Touchdown.
Oh, my God.
Touchdown. They won't catch him. And we got a tie ball game.
And that Mike Vick, that's what he does, Scott. He spent 128 cap on that Mike Vick right there, and he said he will be getting busy on the deep ball. And we saw it right there. Oh, no!
I did it to him. I'll take full credit.
What's going on?
I said we had a tie ball game, but I forgot John Madden football. Take a look at this again, though. Randy Moss all the way open, RG.
The touchdown's good, but I'm in shock, Scott. Young Kiv missing an extra point. And the Achilles heel for Kiv in these tournaments where he doesn't do good has been special teams. He's had his field goal blocked in crucial situations. That's painful for him to overcome. And then a missed extra point.
His last 2 kicks in this building, a block by Jaybird and now a missed extra point.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, Scott. Unbelievable, and he's someone that takes pride in kicking the ball perfect. Every time I talk with him, he says, gee, I kick it perfect every time. I don't know what's going on right there. Maybe Rico or someone will ask him after the game.
We got to take maybe a look at this again. Unbelievable. You can see
it's not even
short
close.
On the kick, and he just, as a Bears fan, I'm starting to have some bad memories.
Oh, gee. If you're Kiv, too, now that's in your head. But he has a lot of experience, so hopefully it doesn't hang with him. But I don't care how experienced you are. That's frustrating to go through. That's a mental mistake. Let's see if he can overcome it.
Especially if you give up a touchdown here, and then next thing you know, you're chasing the points as you be down 8.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh forbid Croft scores a touchdown, wants to go for 2, make it 9. One thing I wanted to tell you, Scott, we were talking about the ability. Something that I thought was interesting is Kiv has spent over 83 cap on abilities for this much salary cap team between all the route specialists, conductor, gunslinger players, and an energizer. Will D. Croft spent none of his, oh that was nasty. Spent none of his cap on abilities. His cap is all gone towards just having good overall players in the position he wants them to go, and that was a nasty stop and go, Scott.
But yeah, I mean, that's something that, you know, the man smiling down right now, True Boy, he was sort of that stop and go. Problem brought a little bit of it as well.
Oh, that's that true stick, Scott. It'll forever be that true stick going forward. That stop and go move, he's the one that made it famous.
Because when you're playing the user on defense, it's so easy to over-pursue and overrun and just wait, and bam. D. Croft's got some moves, guys. We got a 1-point ball game here early, but D. Croft, it's going about as well as it can for the young man.
Oh, man, and I'm telling you, this is the matchup he wanted. He said, I knew I would be playing Kiv, but you know what? I'm such a diehard Seahawks fan. I would never not go after Seattle. I know he's in my way, but I'm prepared for him, and I'm ready to test myself. So far, so good for the young man. Wide open.
Vic. Boy, this is going to be tough. He finds prime time. Dion picks up the first down, 1st and 10 from the 28. I think we're in for a score fest. I really do. I think it's going to be back and forth. Might be who has it last. I know I said that in the last game, but there's something special about the Seattle Seahawks Club Championship. It just really is.
The games are always phenomenal. See Kiv over here in a little 4-3 defense.
Let's go black you now. They start 3.
1st and 10 for D. Croft. Little motion as the play clock runs down. Hands it out to Fournette. That's good enough for 5. Boy, at this point, I normally we can kind of predict what play's coming next. D. Croft's got me on my heels. I got no idea where he's going.
And he says he has a variety of plays out this gun trips tight end. It revolves around that inside zone, but he has a ton of concepts. And he says the reason he loves the trips tight end is he has multiple plays that forces the defense to baseline. If you're not in baseline, he's going to motion his receiver, get the corner route wide open in a couple of his different plays. So he's forcing his opponent on defense to play a specific style. And you see Kiv right there, he's baseline because the receiver's out, the corner's out to the far left, so you know he's in a baseline front.
Vic.
Oh, it's
picked up by
He's
Dion.
down! He's down, but it's a touchback. Prime time doing prime time things, and that is huge for the Kiva, Scott.
This is unbelievable by Kiv.
Oh, and that's what you got to worry about, those high passes in traffic. If the ball goes batted up in the air, you know that you get intercepted off the tip. That was huge for Kiv.
So he missed an extra point, but now he's got it back with a chance to go down here and take the lead after the INT and the touchback. 1st and 10 from the 41. Vic looking downfield, is going to use his legs. What a spin move!
Yes. And here's the thing, Scott. Kiv has the tier 3 zone run chemistry active. It's given him +2 spin move to all of his players. And he was the only player in this club that got the tier 3 sprinter chem active. So he's getting +2 speed to all of his players as well.
He's told us yesterday, he said maybe there's a handful of players in the Madden community that knows how to juice it up like that.
That sprinter chem, a lot of people have it to tier 1 or tier 2 because it gets you the speed. But with Kiv getting it to tier 3 is so difficult in salary cap, but he was able to do it with this lineup. And that just shows the skills that he has not only on the sticks, but at the roster building as well.
There's Tyreek Hill. Don't blink, folks. Kiv's 5 for 5 for 130 yards. There's the reason he's one of the best passers in all of John Madden football.
And he's doing something unique, and I don't think Crawford's ready for this. Kidd used the route specialist chems on all 3 of his wide receivers. He's got Tyreek Hill and Deion Sanders. Oh, he's got room.
There's Allen.
As I was saying, Scott, he has Tyreek Hill and Deion Sanders, both with the elite route chem, and then Randy Moss with the deep route chemistry. So what that does is give them new routes that players might not be used to counteracting against, and it allows them to run a much more unique gun bunch than his opponent may be used to seeing.
Something new in Madden 19 we haven't seen in years past. It's been a welcome addition.
With the lineup building specifically this year, Scott, you're seeing a ton of variety with the way these guys are doing their chemistries and their abilities and their power-up players. It's been my favorite year of lineup building that I've seen because of all the uniqueness that these players have.
There's Marcus Allen, former USC Trojan. Will go absolutely nowhere. We've got 3 minutes to go in the half. This game is flying by.
And Kiv likes that Marcus Allen. He said he doesn't cost a lot of cap. He's normally 88 speed, but with Kiv's chemistry, he gets him to 90 speed and then also an 85 spin move, which makes him feel he can get very loose with that Marcus Allen in the open field. Lets him play above his rating, Scott.
What a user play right there by D. Croft. Plugging up the gap and forcing a 3rd and goal.
It's going to be a big play right here. You got to assume that Kiv's just going to take his points if D. Croft can stop him.
I know we said it before. Josh Jones is nasty at middle linebacker.
That middle linebacker, and he's not a lot of cap. I believe he's only 38 cap, Scott, but he's got 90+ speed and hit power. So he is one of the common themes that you see on a lot of these salary cap lineups. If you're watching at home and you need a salary cap goon, you better go get him.
Vic empties out the backfield. He might
run
this in.
Oh, he got hit!
And they're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. He was trying to stretch the ball out.
Now he's got
4th and goal from the half-yard line.
And now he's got to make a decision. I said he'd probably take his 3, but now that you're on the inch-yard line,
got to go for it.
And he is. You see him. He's in the goal line formation. He's using his quick audibles, probably his audibles on the fly, putting a toss in his audibles as well. If you don't use audibles on the fly, you better go and learn that mechanic. It allows you to change your audibles at the play call screen so you can bring what plays you want with you to the line of scrimmage. Every player that plays on the half-yard line uses it.
You're right. It's
right there, Scott.
4th and goal from the inch.
He's looking toss.
Tosses it out to Randy Moss. He won't get there.
What a tackle!
He will not get there. What a stop by D. Croft.
And Kiv tried to go scum, do a little audibles to get Randy Moss in the backfield. He has all that speed, but look at this edge containment, and you're not going nowhere. And Kiv, despite the interception, still down a point, Scott.
So now D. Croft, after the stand, remember last time threw an interception in the end zone. He's got 150. He's got 2 timeouts. Clock on the move. Ball at the 6-yard line. 2nd and 9.
And just so I can elaborate, Scott, it's Josh Jones, middle linebacker, out of position, 34 cap, 78 overall. If you need yourself a salary cap goon at middle linebacker, go and check him out. I hope I didn't just make his price go up on the auction block. A little too much.
Out of position and out of his mind. That's a tight window to the 12. And we're going to see a 3rd and 3. And I'm not sure why Kiv doesn't call a timeout here. That's valuable seconds coming off that clock.
Good point, Scott. You got 3 of them. You can't take them with you to the second half. You assume you can get a stop here on 3rd and 3. It's a big play. Look at Kiv. Looks like he's dialing up the heat.
Wide open is Randy Moss.
I love that route concept, Scott. You know the heat's coming from the right side. You got a short out route going over there, a short in route. Make the defense make a decision. And Croft just with an easy read for a 1st down right there. He said he's very comfortable in this trips tight end, and we're seeing it right there.
Took Ed Reed and Brian Dawkins to bring down the big Randy Moss.
And now if you're Croft, you need to get some urgency to turn this into some points.
There's a big hit at the 35-yard line. Only has 1 timeout remaining now. 2nd and 4. Gonna have to pick up the pace.
Yeah, this is big because if you're Croft, Kiv's going to get the ball to start the second half. You want to get yourself a touchdown so Kiv's playing catch-up. You don't want him to get ahead of you. It's going to be really hard to deal with. This is a huge 40 seconds. He's taking his time here, Scott.
Has time in the pocket, and there is. Oh, he's going to get out of bounds. He's going to get out of bounds, young fella. And he uses the timeout.
That's it. It's his last one.
Boy, it's never worth that one extra yard to stop the clock. I would have had the opportunity to go out of bounds. I know you're getting extra yards here, but then go ahead and tuck out.
There's that verticals, deep cross, and yeah, not getting out of bounds. Let's see if that comes back to bite him, Scott.
Trips to the right, Dion a little motion. And all alone. This is tough. That clock's on the move. It's tick, tick, ticking away.
Yeah, Kiv's letting him check down all day long. Oh, he's going for the field goal. This is a smart, mature move right here.
It is a huge 54 yards field goal.
This isn't a give me. Kiv
this is Greg the leg, though. Come on now.
Base elite Greg the leg. That's a rip.
And it is up, and it is right down Main Street. D. Croft with a 4-point lead, trying to go into the final to face Mike to see who's going to represent the Seattle Seahawks next week at the Club Championship. That's in San Francisco at the brand new studio. They're out at EA's headquarters. That's going to be something else.
It's a big drive here, Scott, for the Kiva. Statement drive right here.
$1,000 game of Madden just right here, folks. 4-point game. Kiv with the ball, trailing. And he's going to be sacked up.
It's a big sack right there.
Khalil Mack.
Huge sack for Croft right there. And I expect Kiv to do a little more quick hiking. He said he wants to get to the line and snap the ball in the hurry and not give Croft the chance to make adjustments like you saw right there.
Dion.
With that conductor, Scott, it allows you to make adjustments so fast that you could give the defense less time to set up. And Kiv having that's big because D. Croft likes to do, his average is 6.2 defensive adjustments per play, Scott. That's a lot of adjustments. So Kiv trying to get up there, hike the ball, and not give him time to adjust like that.
There's Randy Moss. He's in plus territory now at the 42-yard line. Boy, how big has Randy Moss been?
He's another one of those staples in salary cap. When you can get a guy that's got 97, 98 speed, 6'4", can catch the ball in traffic, that's just the type of weapon you want in your arsenal on the virtual gridiron.
Vic.
Oh, got to be careful.
He's going to be sacked back at the 46-yard line. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 14.
Jari Alexander, D. Croft called it out, saying that's one of my best corners. He's going to make a ton of plays from the slot. I like to drop him into coverage. I like to blitz him. Right there with the sack.
Back to live action here, 2nd and 14. And boy, he could have read a book back there, and Dion nearly picks up the first down. I think they're going to mark him just shy, 3rd and 1. Vic 8 of 8 now for young Kiv. But young Kiv just so patient. Sure, just 21 years old, but we talked about the amount of games he played. He's last year's champ. This has been the one event that has eluded him, is winning the Seattle Club Championship.
And again, he says the pressure is even more this year, not only because he's trying to get the hump off his back. This is the biggest tournament of the MCS season. This is where the majority of the money is to be made. And Kiv having won the big one last year, he won $100,000. He's trying to repeat that success. So we said there is definitely a lot of pressure going into this event, and he'd be lying if he said he wasn't feeling it.
Came up short in the Madden Classic just really about a month ago or so. Wait, that's further than that, right? We were in December. Okay. Time has gone by, man.
CW
you blink in the holiday. Oh, man, goodness.
That was phenomenal.
I'd be lying if I said I hadn't watched it 3 or 4 times.
Phenomenal. You did great work on those. Look forward to seeing more of those as the sport continues to grow.
And Vic. Boy, that was a tight window.
There it is, Scott. Another big 3rd and 8. It's just big play after big play happening in this game. Can D. Croft stand up for himself?
Good defense there by Fitzpatrick.
And the thing I like about Croft too, you see his defense instead, he's in a nickel 3-3-5 normal look. Again, a little something different than what you see from the normal meta of the nickel normals, the dollars, the crossfires. He's got his own little twist on defense, I love it.
And there is Khalil Mack. And that's why some of these guys juice up their line. All it takes is one shed. That wasn't even a shed. That was just a great inside move. Watch, he gets loose here and then cuts back to the inside.
That's why you go and get yourself a Khalil Mack. And that's what D. Croft was able to do. He didn't spend on abilities. See this field goal.
He missed it.
Wow.
I'm sick right now. He's missed his last 3 field goals in this building.
Oh my goodness.
It's mental right now.
Oh my goodness. Kiv's special teams is destroying them.
And for Bears fans to just turn away.
What I was saying about D. Croft in that Mack, Scott, since he didn't spend any cap on abilities, it allowed him to spend extra cap on those pass rushers.
We'd have a tie game right now if it wasn't for the kicking game.
Yeah, those 4 points were left on the board strictly from the kicking game.
See Fournette getting to the outside here. Lattimore forcing him out.
And there's that
47.
And that's that inside zone he talked about. He likes it because you can cut it inside, you can cut it outside, you can go right off the tackle. It's one of those runs where if you make the right read, a lot of times you'll have some success. And there he goes right now with the right read, Scott.
Needs to get on his horse, though.
He's on it.
Touchdown.
Wow, D. Croft makes it a 2-possession ball game in the 3rd quarter against Kiv. Oh, man, Kiv, you got some adversity to fight through right now. That was a huge run, Scott. In the biggest event of the season, Croft with the perfect stick work on the inside zone, sticking to his game plan, and the great young Kiv's back is against the ropes.
Gonna have good field position to start this drive at the 42-yard line, but you gotta strike quick.
That's the good news, though, for Kiv. He has 3 timeouts. We still got a minute 40 in the 3rd quarter, Scott. He does have time to definitely get himself back in the ball game, but like you said, not much room for error. He needs to get it going here.
Dick, boy, he's boxed up right now.
And another thing Kiv's been having to deal with this season, Scott, is remember, he's the defending champion from Madden 18. So now you got that target on your back. You're gonna get everybody's best game every time you get out there on the sticks. And that's what he's having to deal with right now with a young, hungry, feisty D. Croft.
Brings up a 2nd and 13. Vick and Sharp will just gain a few. He's been accurate, 9 of 10. But it's been the leg. It's been the kicking game that has really hurt young Kiv.
I don't believe he spent a lot of cap on that kicker, Scott. Here's a good read.
There's Randy down to the 32. Clock on the move. Here late the 3rd.
Yeah, and Kiv, he's rocking the 10-cap Dan Bailey kicker. So you're not going to be able to make a lot of those good kicks, but nonetheless, he still should have been able to hit both of those despite the 10-cap Dan Bailey.
Vick throws into coverage. What a catch by Moss.
Oh, my goodness. Sometimes, what do they like to say? Sometimes Madden's bad to you, sometimes it's good to you.
That was good.
Finally, some good right
Here's
there for
a 2-point try.
Oh, this is big, Scott. Make this a field goal game right here. Plays like this are not to be underestimated. These are often the plays that can decide a game, Scott.
Remember, D. Croft stopped him last time he was down here.
I like seeing Kiv in this deuce close look a little different than his bunch. A little something different in the red zone. This is big. Kiv knows how big it is.
Might use Vick's legs here. Gotta get rid of it.
Oh.
Khalil Mack is really a problem right now for Kiv.
Oh, Max just causing all types of havoc. He's 90+ overall. There's the touchdown. All types of in traffic. That's Madden giving you some love. But you know what? If you're going to throw it into traffic to somebody, why not throw it to that big 98 overall Randy Moss? He's the one that's going to give you a chance to make plays like that.
D. Croft's got a little stick.
The thing D-Croft's been sticky.
Right.
He's established that. The thing I liked about Croft right there is he didn't seem to get too tilted over a play that a lot would consider very unlucky. He's rolling with the punches and he's continuing to go with it, and that's what you need to be able to do, is have that mental capacity if you want to beat a player the skill level of young Kiv.
If you're just joining us, young Kiv missed an extra point, missed a long field goal, and then also remember he went for it on 4th and inches from the goal line. It was 4th and goal from the inch line before the half. And didn't convert, so that's, in my bad math, that's 11 points.
11 points
he
on
could
the board.
have.
11 points left on the field. And if he kicked the field goal, it's 7 points. It gives him the lead. Right here, if you're Kiv, you just can't let up the touchdown, Scott. We're in the 4th quarter, you put your 4s up, and this is where it's going to get down to the nitty-gritty. And I'm not talking HQ.
Yeah, needs the turnover or hold him to a field goal.
Ooh, that's Ixon! That's Ixon, Scott! His stick work's real. You were saying it and you're not joking. His stick work is very real. He's got the true stick.
He is averaging close to 13 yards a carry now. Fournette looking to get, ooh!
Ew! If I had stick work like this, I might actually be able to win some games online.
Well, everybody's putting their, their 10-year challenge up on Twitter. I think that's where your game is. Yeah. A lot thicker in 09
yeah.
than it is in 2019.
It's lost a step of 4.
2nd and 8. He's in field goal range here. If Kiv can hold him, we still got a 1-possession game. You give up a touchdown here, and Kiv's really going to be in a hard spot here.
It'll be interesting right here to see how D-Croft manages this clock. That's one of the things the younger players have trouble with. You see right there.
It's picked off!
He threw a book!
It was Dion guarding Dion. And the defensive primetime comes up with a pick.
And to me, this was the worst play of the game for Croft. You're in a situation where you should be controlling the clock. You leave 11 seconds on the play clock. You snap it, and then you throw a read that could get you starring in the next bird box. And now Kiv's got you against the ropes. He's on the guap drive.
4 minutes to go now. The 4-minute offense engaged here for Kiv.
Oh, that's devastating for D-Croft. You've been playing an immaculate game. You had that nasty run. You're getting in the red zone looking to make it an 8-point game. And now all of a sudden, you're on defense and your heart's probably dropped to your toes.
Sharp with a few yards there. 2nd and 5. Just shy of midfield here. 3:30 to go.
Eagle.
And it's up to Kiv. Is he going to make this a final drive, or will he strike quick?
Right now, if you're Kiv, I believe you're just worried about getting these points on the board, more so than anything.
And you got to go to your number 2 2-point conversion play here if you want to try to go up 3.
That's what, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, maybe he'll run the same one. But yeah, he definitely was locked up on that last 2-point conversion with Mac just screaming off that edge.
And there's Tyreek Hill, gets away from 1, close to the yard to gain. Just shy at the 19-yard line. He's in the red zone with under 3 minutes to play. Scott Cole and RG with you here. You're watching the Seattle Seahawks Club Championship. It's as good as advertised, folks.
Young Kiv trying to make it to the finals for the 3rd time in a row, to play K-Mike for the 3rd time in a row. D-Croft at his first club event, trying to make a name for himself, going up against the Madden 18 defending champion. There's glory to be had here, Scott.
Eagle.
Just 22 seconds away from the 2-minute warning. 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Kiv.
Oh, that post route's wide open!
Randy Moss hauls it in! And Kiv has the lead.
And that's why you want that deep route specialist, Scott. It allows you to hot route him onto that post route from the slot. You get him wide open in that 2nd level over those underneath zones. And now Kiv with a huge 2-point conversion play. You called it, Scott. Does he go back to what worked last time, or does he that didn't work last time, or does he try something new? I think he's going to try something new here.
Boy, that deep post for the last 3 years and maybe for years beyond that, has been devastating. A little different look here.
Watch the table route to the running back with the tight end blocking for him. Nope.
Goes back, and somehow Randy Moss hauls it in for the 2 points. Good grief.
Oh, my goodness. Randy Moss.
Doing it all.
Touchdown, the 2-point conversion, whatever you need him to do right there. And Kiv's had some fortunate catches from Moss in that red zone, but hey, you got to put the ball in the hands of your playmakers in clutch time, and there's no better playmaker in Mutt salary cap right now than that Randy Moss fully powered up.
If you're the young D. Croft, you got to put this in perspective right now. You're only 3 points behind the champ.
Yeah.
With 2:10 to go. This game is yours. This game is yours to lose right now. You can go down and win it right here.
And besides that interception, he's been looking very good on offense, Scott. Running the ball, finding receivers open. But Kiv's going to send the pressure right now. That's one thing that Kiv does phenomenally, Scott, is when the situation's at its biggest, he's not scared to send that heat and force you to make a play. So I expect the heavy blitz scheme coming from Kiv on this drive.
2-minute warning. Both our competitors with full timeouts, 3 apiece. On 2nd and 2 from the 33. Needs a field goal to tie it.
Yep, there it is. There goes Kiv. He's sending 6 players off of the edge, and he's telling D. Croft, you know what, you're going to have to make a quick read and play with fire with my user.
Sean Taylor with a stop. That's one of the first times he stopped the inside zone run for no gain. Actually pushes them back. It's going to be 3rd and 4. Coming down to the last opportunities here for D. Croft.
5-man rush. What a play by Croft.
And there is Julio Jones, who already has a touchdown already. Well, we've seen a wild game here. D. Croft's thrown 2 interceptions. Kiv has missed 2 kicks.
Unbelievable. Daniel Mycroft, 18 years old, lives 30 minutes right outside of Seattle, Washington. Diehard Seahawks fan. Finds himself on a guap drive with 1:10 in the 4th quarter, Scott, against the defending champion. And you know what? If you're D. Croft, this is where you want to be, Scott. The ball in your hands on the game-winning drive. You wouldn't want it any other way.
Mike is waiting in the final.
There's that pressure.
That was huge from Taylor.
Little emotion from Kiv right there. He knows that was huge, Scott. Look at it.
Boy, unblocked.
I told you, Kiv is and it's what the best players do in these high-pressure situations. They are not scared to send the house and force you to make plays.
Somehow got that one in there.
There it is. There it is, Scott.
4th and 3, 37 seconds to go. Kiv uses a timeout here.
This is intense, Scott. There he goes.
This will tie it, a 55-yarder.
It's going to be close.
The kick is up, and it is
off the
crossbar!
Barkley! Chicago Bears fans, turn your head away.
I'm having flashbacks here. This is painful to watch. The kicking game has betrayed both our competitors.
But here's the question, Scott. Did they betray themselves? Both of these guys going with 10-cap type kickers. You're not spending a lot of your salary on a kicker. And this is the price that you end up paying for something like that. You are in control of your roster. If you really wanted to, you could go out and get yourself a Justin Tucker focus kicker for whatever cap, and he's going to make hitting field goals like that a walk in the park. These are the risks you take with your lineup creation, Scott. It's not over just yet, though. Croft still has his 2 timeouts, Scott.
Kiv needs a first
It's
down.
over.
Wide
It's
open
over.
Tyreek Hill.
Got to get down.
GG's.
Oh, my gosh. What a ball game. GG's in the chat.
Unbelievable. Somehow Kiv perseveres. And we're going to have a rematch. It's going to be Mike and young Kiv will play for the title the 3rd year in a row, with Mike winning the last 2. Mike has still not lost a game in the club championship. He's 19-0. But how about Kiv? I've seen him win games in many different ways. This might be the best.
This is bananas, Scott. Going into this event, The two players that you were expecting to be here in this final game are now in this final game. We're going to get the third matchup between these two. It's going to get down to the nitty-gritty. It's going to be intense. Both of their club championship lives are on the line. I cannot wait.
Well, Kiv had to throw for over 300 yards to get this win. He got it done. Let's take a look at some of these highlights here. Unbelievable. And it was all Decroft. I mean, he was in control of this ball game. As you see, Kiv, we thought was going to tie it up here early. End up missing the extra point.
Yep, the extra point was big, and then Kiv gets the momentum with the interception right there. You're thinking he's going to go get vintage. Vic gets stopped on the inch-yard line, and then gets stopped on fourth down right there. It truly is a game of inches, Scott. And then that was one. That's a risky throw right there.
That was the game changer right there. With 4:02 to go, Decroft threw the interception. And once again, back to Randy Moss. He'll get the two-point conversion as well. And then Doinksons.
Doink! And I'll tell you, Scott, it came down to that last possession for Decroft. I was curious how he was going to handle his clock management. He seemed to snap the ball a little bit early and then threw the interception. And that was the changing point, and that's what's going to allow us to see for the third time K-Mike versus Young Kiv. I don't know who I have in this matchup. Chat, if you're watching at home, you're going to see it for the third time. Let us know in the chat who you got in this matchup.
Well, Mike's the favorite.
Bananas.
I mean, I know Kiv is the reigning Madden 18 champ, but Mike is the favorite. He's got Kiv's number.
Well, you would say that, but looking at Donnie Moore's Twitter poll, he does a Twitter poll where he lets everyone go, Donnie_Moore. He's phenomenal. You better go follow him.
72% thought Kiv was going to win this game.
Despite Mike never losing a club championship game, 72% still voted for Kiv to be the favorite win in this event.
Well, that's what we got coming on the other side of the break. We're going to have Mike taking on Kiv for the third time, 3 years in a row. If you don't come back, you don't love Madden. We'll see you.
Shop the largest selection of authentic jerseys, sweatshirts, hats, and more at one of 4 Puget Sound Pro Shop locations. Or shop online anytime at Seahawks.com.
What's up, man? What's up? Good luck. You too. What do you get from nervous cows? Milkshakes. Why did the fish blush? Because it saw the ocean bottom.
That was pretty good.
I know.
That was pretty good.
What's a pretzel's favorite dance? The twist. What animal always breaks the law? A cheetah. He cheated. A cheetah. What time do you go to the dentist? At 2:30. There you go. Finally, man. 2:30. There we go.
Whoa, serious speed boost. Oz, what is this?
CenturyLink just installed fiber internet.
Bonjour, madouit.
Get the house power to fuel your digital world with CenturyLink fiber internet. Switch today at CenturyLink.com/housepower.
If this is you, every game day, you have a Junior 12. Join the team at Seahawks.com/Junior12s today.
And welcome back to the Millennial Esports Arena here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. We've seen two amazing semifinal games earlier. We saw K-Mike pull out a great victory, and young Kiv fought through some tough adversity to make it through these finals. One of these gentlemen will represent the Seattle Seahawks in the 2019 Madden Club Championships. Well, with no further ado, let's bring our competitors to the stage. Coming out first, the three-time Seattle Seahawks Club champion. He's made it here before. He's never lost a game. Please put your hands together for none other than K-Mike. Good luck. And speaking of good luck, he's going to need all of it facing this tough competitor here. He's made it before. He has not been able to get over the hump, but he's looking to see if he can change that here. Young Kiv is making his way to the podium. All right, we have these two familiar faces ready to lock in. Let's go to another two familiar faces we're used to. Guys, take it away.
All right, thanks so much, Rico. It's the moment that we thought we'd see again. This time for the third time, K-Mike has won back-to-back Seattle Club Championships. He's faced Kiv both times. You remember the 4th and 22 from last year. All that kind of stuff leads up to this moment where Kiv just had an absolute hell game. He knows he got lucky a time or two. You make your own luck, RG.
Yeah, no.
But he's facing maybe the luckiest guy in all of Madden. That's you know, our man Mike here, who beat Big George. Young Kiv beat D. Croft, and here's the three match.
Yeah, and this is just, you can't believe it's happening. And no disrespect to George or D. Croft. They were phenomenal competitors, but this was the game everybody wanted to see, and we're going to get to see it. It was amazing. And then remember, this game last year came down to the wire. I mean, K-Mike beat Young Kiv in an overtime thriller, and it came down to a 4th and 22 type play. You can see it on your screen right here. Look at this, 4th and 22, 24-24. Mind you, Kiv just got done fumbling on his 6-yard, on Mike's 6-yard line from a scoring drive, and Mike just clutches up, and this had to be devastating for Young Kiv to get himself in field goal range, but this just shows you it's a game of inches, Coltrane, and there it was, the user playmaker. Remember, Mike's rocking with 3 playmakers this time around. And I cannot wait to see how this one goes down again. But this just shows you that last year, this came down to the wire, and you could expect it to come down to the wire again this year. This is going to be a phenomenal matchup.
Yeah, it was a 45-yard field goal right there that put Mike into, come on, he's now a legend. There in Seattle, representing his home team. And boy, they had a great night that night. We've had a tremendous day here today. And we're just 1 week away from really the big show. But who's going to represent the Seahawks? That's the question right now. Will it be Mike? Will it be Young Kiv? For the 3rd time in a row, can Kiv finally beat Mike, who has never lost a club championship game?
And since Mike has never lost a club championship game, technically the Seahawks have never lost a club championship game either. So they're going to be anxious to see which of these players is going to represent them in the finals and who can keep that streak going. You know, not only Mike's streak, but the Seahawks streak of being undefeated in this club championship tournament and trying to get Madden supremacy amongst all the NFL clubs.
Well, Mike, can you do it one more time? Can you three-peat here for the Seahawks? Now let's jump right into it. All right, so second and 11, here we go.
This is it, Seattle Seahawks Club Championship final game. Scott, the two guys we expected to be in it are in it. Who's going to prevail?
Mike will have it first. He's in the all dark blue. Kiv will be in the white jerseys with the blue pants. And Rodgers with a quick 11-yard strike there. That'll be just shy. So we'll have a 3rd and 1.
Let's go, come on.
Well, I tell you what, the pressure that's in the building right now
Here we go.
between these two guys.
Oh, the drip on the palms has to be ridiculous. You know those palms are sweating and dripping in a big game like this, Coltrane.
Shotgun, hands it off to Coleman, and he will squeeze his way through. And that'll be enough for a first down.
Yeah, Mike likes that Tevin Coleman. He's got 91 speed. He doesn't cost you that much cap. He's a very serviceable running back to have in much salary cap.
And remember, we mentioned before, he plays on conservative ball carriers, so he's not trying to make any moves. He's just, if you get an opportunity to run by, and that's why he's got Coleman.
Yeah, because Coleman has that speed, it's perfect for that style of running, Scott.
Plus territory, ball at the 47.
Aaron Rodgers at the line. And remember, it's much salary cap. That's why you see Aaron Rodgers and Tevin Coleman in the Seattle Seahawks uniform. These guys built these teams, Scott. You get those questions all the time from some of them. Where's Russell Wilson? Because we're in salary cap.
And they pick the team, they build the team that's based on their style. And Mike thinks Aaron Rodgers, and you can see the rollout. Looking downfield, he's thrown into coverage. Picked off by Alexander, stumble recovery.
He's got room.
And returns it to the 38-yard line. Kiv's in business.
Oh, and Mike gets hit during the throw, ends up in a duck, and that's why you want that gunslinger on your quarterback. If he had gunslinger on Rodgers right there, he wouldn't have had one of those longer wind-up animations, and that's why Kiv plays with the gunslinger on his Vic. Rolls out of the pocket, you're gonna leave your quarterback susceptible, got hit during the throw, and now Kiv needs to capitalize on that. That's a huge momentum swing early in this game for the Kiva.
So 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 38-yard line. Kiv with his first opportunity to sling it. Gets it outside to Sharp, what a spin move, double spin move. Tried for a third, but wrapped up at the 48-yard line.
And Kiv keeps the energizer ability on that Shannon Sharp. He says he likes to truck with him and spin with him, and since he has the energizer ability, if he successfully pulls one of those off, his temporary stamina beater will refill so he can just keep at full speed after the run.
Tyreek Hill takes it to the 33. So back-to-back gains here for Kiv, and he's already deep in Killer Mike territory.
If you're in the chat and you're a Madden gamer at home and you're not utilizing these steerable spin moves or the spin moves with these elite wide receivers, you're doing it wrong. To do the steerable spin move, you hold the left trigger, the right trigger, aim the left stick in the direction you want to go, and press that B button. That's what Kiv's doing when you see him pull off those crispy spin moves with Tyreek Hill.
Vic steps up in the pocket, has time, and it's going to be an incomplete pass. He was hit as he threw. So it'll be a 2nd and 10. Ball at the 33, and
do you see how often Kiv and Mike are willing to step up in the pocket throughout this whole tournament, Scott? That's a true skill. You don't see a lot of Madden players do that. Ooh.
Boy, Shannon,
you know,
real tough right now.
When I play Madden, Scott, and I'm in the pocket, I'm just holding the left stick back, dropping back 15, 20 yards. The best players are going to be the ones that step up into that pocket, get the protection that they need, and then make the correct read. Exactly what we saw right there from young Kiv.
Hey, let's go.
That little replay there you saw. Pete Carroll watching Shannon Sharp do his thing. Ball just outside the red zone at the 21-yard line.
You like Moss on the post right there, and there it is. Every time he seems to get Moss on that post in the red zone, Scott, he seems to be going to him, and Moss just continues to come up time and time again on that play. And again, that's because he has that deep route chemistry that's allowing him to hot route mouse to a post route on any play from that slot.
Boy, in 95 yards of the field, give me young Kiv leading my offense. But in the final 5 yards of the field, it's struggleville at times. 1st and goal.
It gets rough down here.
And almost got away with Vic. He'll be sacked, though. There's Lawrence Taylor, the legend.
Yeah, it gets tough down here, Scott. Sometimes you just want to run the ball, but everyone's into the box. It's tough to sneak it into coverage. You don't got to worry about the deep ball. A lot of people like to just throw high passes to a wheel route, get your tight end into the back of the end zone. Curl routes are becoming very popular here in this red zone, but nonetheless, it is stingy and not easy to get in for 6. Looks like Kiv wants to run the rock here.
It's like a 46 Bear defense. Marcus Allen spins his way down to the 3, and we got 3rd and goal.
It's a big play. I like how Kiv's switching up his formation. To see on the play call screen right there, he's got a little I-form slot, little I-twin wide receiver on one side, changing up the audibles, giving Mike a different look that he might not be used to. Big play here, Scott.
I formation. Twins to the right.
He's got Sharp in the backfield at running back.
And Shannon will get down to the 2.
Yeah, he's not really a running back.
It's been a while since Kiv has made a field goal. He struggled in this building.
The special teams woes have just been hurting Kiv so much. And it's crazy because he's a guy that you're used to seeing him kick the ball perfect often. He was one of the best at it, but he's been having struggle lately. Because before he winds it down to the second quarter, you know, probably going to get the boot out.
I mean, I'm trying
to
to think about this. I don't think he made a kick in the semifinal. I think he scored 6. He missed the extra point, and then he went for 2 twice, got it on one of them, and that's how he got to 20 points.
So we might break the ice right here finally, Scott.
And my 3-year-old nephew could kick that through. He's up and it's good. 3-0. Kiv on the board, but if you're Mike, you got to think, okay, long drive, able to stop him in the red zone. Now it's my turn.
Yeah, and that's so important when you're going up against a player of Kiv's caliber. His offense is so prolific. He's able to get points in a hurry. Anytime you can hold him to 3, that's got to feel like a win for the defense.
Turned it over last time.
Well, Kiv was very mature, though, Scott, not forcing anything down there and ensuring that he got himself points off of the turnover. If you force a turnover in Madden, your likelihood of success goes up drastically if you're always able to turn that into points. And fortunately for Kiv, he was able to do that right there.
Go to 50. Hey, you block over here.
Hands it off, and there's a big hit in the backfield.
You see Kiv in a nickel normal type defense this time around. He's been jumping around between a little 4-3, a little nickel, and I like seeing that a bunch of different personnel groupings being run from these players.
It's a 3-point game. Kiv looking so strong on defense right now.
Mike's going to get himself in a big 3rd and 7 here, and Kiv's comfortable in this nickel against the gun bunch type formation. He likes the 4-3 for the gun trips tight end, and then the nickel for the bunch. But there goes Mike getting out of the bunch.
Oko over here.
Rodgers this time has time.
No, he doesn't.
Get rid of it.
Huge.
Now it's Amos coming on the blitz.
And that's a budget Amos, Scott. He's only about an 80 overall, but he's got 87 speed.
It's originally picked up, but then he gets a shed. And we're looking at 4th and 20.
You got to feel fortunate anytime Amos gets a shed. Usually it's oh boy, Scott, but we've seen Mike convert this time and time again. Can he keep the magic going?
It was a 4th and 19 in semifinal number 1. It was a 4th and 22 last year against Kiv.
The goal of Mike to go for this. This is insane, Scott.
Picks up the blitz.
He's got
to let it go. It's a safety!
Whoa! Huge play right there for young Kiv. Finally gets over the hump. Someone's finally able to stop Mike on 4th down, and not only did he stop him, he hits him for the safety, which is going to get him 2 points, plus the ball back with great field position. Young Kiv in complete control right now, Scott.
How about that cover 3 defense on 4th and 20? No one open downfield, and I guess he thinks, hey, I'm going to give up an interception or 2 points here. We'll see if that strategy comes back. Behind him a little later on. Dion takes a big hit at the 49.
Look at Kiv focused. I don't blame you, Scott. That's a nice set of lettuce he has. Kiv's had the best hair in the game for a while now. Both of these guys from the, Seattle, Washington type area. Obviously, Mike says he grew up in Costa Mesa, California, but he's now stationed in the Air Force in Spokane, Washington. Kids from Edmonds, Washington. Both of these guys Seahawks fans.
And Kiv scrambles to the 48. Got an opportunity right here to maybe seize this game, go up by 2 scores.
You said it right there, Scott. Seize the game. That's what he needs to do here. Killer Mike, K-Mike is way too feisty to keep around into the game. If you have your chance to pour water on him while he's drowning, you have to do it. That's the saying they say in Madden, Scott. When you see a man drowning, what do? You throw water on him. You can't give players like K-Mike an inch. He's just way too good.
Snaps it with 1 on the play clock, and there comes the heat. Jabril Peppers gets in there for the sack.
See Kiv's recent plays. He's just coming out in that patch curl flat play almost every down exclusively. But then what he'll do is he has his audibles with him at the line of scrimmage, and he'll change that to a variety of different plays, whether it be patch sails, vertical, a base, whatever it may be.
Hey, let's go.
Boy, Mike has won 19 in a row here in the club championship. And you're right, the Seahawks have never lost. And there's a 2-minute warning. So 2nd and 15, Kiv up by 5. Here in the final 2 minutes of the first half, Scott Cole and RG along with you.
So if Mike is 19-0, and I'll consider him like the Undertaker, how he kind of was in WrestleMania, it's Kiv Brock Lesnar. I think we'll find out by the end of this game. Certain streaks you just never think would end, Scott, but everything does come to an end, but I don't think Mike's going to go away quietly.
That was Jabril Peppers once again, this time with the knockdown at the line of scrimmage, forcing a 3rd and 15, and that's an overthrow. And here comes 4th down. You got to go for it here, right?
Yeah, I think if you're Kiv, you're going to get aggressive. Mike, even if Mike stops you right now, he's not blatantly into field goal range. You've already made some stops. You got to try to get all over him, take advantage of the safety. He's going for the glory. If you're Mike, you're willing to let up any of that stuff underneath. You just got to protect those sticks and not let anything get behind it.
Watch for Tyreek Hill. He's solo to the right.
Good blitz pickup. Wow.
I've seen a few games, RG. I've watched a few games.
Good call, Scott. And the other thing that I like what you saw Kiv do right there is Mike was sending a heavy pressure, and then Kiv just leaves in the tight end to block, get himself some extra time, and that's what you love about the gun bunch formation. It's part of why it's so popular. It's really phenomenal at helping you pick up a lot of these pressures.
There's a sack at the 30-yard line. They'll bring up a 2nd and 10.
Kiv historically has taken a lot of sacks, though, Scott. When we always looked at his stats, he is willing to take that sack rather than force a pass into coverage, and it's why he doesn't turn the ball over very often.
Boy, nearly threw it in traffic there. There was 2 guys coming loose.
Right on cue, we tell him he doesn't like to throw passes in coverage, throws right at a defender. Good old commentator curse.
Vic Beasley Jr. I've already made Kiv miss an extra point earlier.
Yeah, see, he just max protected right there, Scott. That's a mechanic that you have to use if you want to be able to play at a high level. Oh, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The pressure still gets there. Lawrence Taylor. Look at that dance, swagging around. But he kept his tight end and his running back into block. If you want to, Scott, at the line of scrimmage, for those that don't know, you press the LB button that pulls up the slide protection. You can go left, right, pinch, or max protect. He went max protect right there. Didn't work out.
It's a perfect kick finally for Kiv. And it's down the middle. And we still have a 1-possession game, 8-0.
If you're Mike, you gotta be feeling good. All is good, as one of his gamer tag is right now for him. If you're able to give up a safety, throw an interception, and you're still only down 1 possession, you gotta be feeling pretty good about that. Especially against a player the caliber of the great young Kiv.
Kiv up by 8 with a field goal, a safety, and another field goal. So we still yet to see a touchdown here in this first half. 54 seconds to go. Here in quarter number 2, Mike with 2 timeouts. And there's Johnson. Boy, what's going through his head right now? It's not been a great offensive first half for Mike.
I think if you're Mike right now, you want to get points. It's a priority, but you need to make sure that you don't turn the ball over right now. That happens to so many Madden players. You get greedy before the half, you can turn the ball over, and that would allow Kiv to make this 2-possession. That's what he can't let happen right now under any circumstances if you're Mike.
Ocho will step out of bounds there. It'll be a first down at the 41. 2 timeouts, 24 seconds to go now.
Right. Yeah, Liz.
It's the man with the horseshoe in his pocket
We are going.
over these last couple seasons.
Gotta watch these deep crossing routes and the corner routes. There's that deep cross over the middle.
Rodgers gets loose, gets it to Moss on the playmaker, and the clock's on the move here.
Where's the timeout? There it is. A little slow on the fingers right there by Mike to call that timeout.
So 1 timeout, maybe 2 or 3 plays here on 2nd and 3.
26.
Gotta watch Moss on that deep crossing route over the middle. Get him right into field goal range with a completion like that.
He's got Jerry Rice, though.
What a hit.
He dropped it.
What a hit. That was a huge hit. Look at this. Jerry Rice just runs the post up, finds some space, and then boom!
It's the same route that Kiv ran to get it to Tyreek Hill, but the difference is Jerry Rice couldn't overcome the hit stick. 3rd and 3.
That was an 81 overall. Brian Dawkins getting back there to make that hit, Scott.
And one-handed grab, can't hang on, and now you got 4th down. Here with 4 seconds left in the half. Winner of this one will move on to next week. They'll put $5 grand in their pocket. They'll represent the Seattle Seahawks and take on the rest of the league in that $700,000 prize pool in San Francisco. To be our first time out there, first event at the new home for Madden in San Francisco. And what a grab. That'll be the end of the half, though. 8-0. Kiv blanks Mike.
This has been a phenomenal game, Scott. It's exactly what we expected. 2 high-level competitors going back and forth. Both of them wanted. Both of them's club championship life on the line.
So Kiv will have it to start the second half.
And as a Madden player, Scott, this is a great position to be in. You're not in any rush. You're already up 8 points. If you can put together a long drive to get yourself some points right here, you'll be feeling really good about yourself. And Kiv's got himself in a great position to get a ton of momentum. He just needs to do something with it with this drive. But again, being up 8 points, you don't have to be in any type of rush. You can kill the clock. You can take your time. You just got to make sure you execute right now is the most important thing.
Young Kiv, the defending champion there in Madden 18. It was a 3-point win over Drini in Dallas last year. He's beat a lot of the big names in Madden. You can name them off, but one man he's never beat, and that's Mike.
Yep. No, nobody's beat Mike in this club championship. Again, last year he couldn't make it to the final 8 against his game against Ghost, who ended up going on to win the whole entire club championship.
And Moss will drag it in at the 27. Okay. That's a dippity dot.
That's a dippity dot, and that's a huge dot, Scott, because now it gets Kiv into field goal range, and more so than ever right now, he needs to protect the ball, take his time, continue to kill clock, and ensure he gets these points. And not the field goal makes it an 11-point ball game, which is huge.
Sharp tries to spin away, gains 1.
Require Mike to have to score a touchdown, get the 2-point conversion, get a stop, and kick a field goal. And not to mention, if Kiv can turn this drive into a touchdown, he'll really be putting Mike into a hole. I don't know if he'll be able to take himself out of.
2nd and 8.5. They get it to Sharp, and he'll get down to the 15. He's now in the red zone.
And you see this out of this bunch formation, Scott. The guys that have the best success out of it are the ones that are willing to check down to that flat route, take their 5 to 10 yards, and do it as long as the defense gives it to them. And then when that's adjusted to, you have a route over top to go to.
There's Jabril Peppers again, knocking it down at the line of scrimmage. What a touchdown here would be devastating for Mike.
Oh, devastating. The thing for Kiv that hurts right there is these incomplete passes, Scott. They end up stopping the clock.
Already worked a minute and change off here in this second half as Kiv gets Vic with loose. Gets loose with Vic for just a moment. It's going to be 3rd and 6.
I keep talking about the clock, Scott, but remember, it's 5-minute quarters. Time of possession in Madden is so important. Each possession is so important. You don't have a lot of time. I remember the Patriots against the Chargers in the playoffs. They put together a 7-minute and 45-second drive. That could be done in Madden as well. So it's important to control the clock and limit possessions.
That's what you get with Vic sometime. The overthrow, and here's a field goal opportunity. Not perfect, but the accuracy is right down Main Street. And we got an 11-0 game. Been an awkward game, to say the least. Still 0 touchdowns. 3 field goals and a safety for Kiv.
Hey, you got it. If you're going to take on the undefeated K Mike and try to get away with a W, you're going to have to grind it out, Scott. This is going to be a big drive.
Mike has been in a box for the entire first half. Gets it here with 2:49 to go. Mike in the all blue, Kiv's in the white jerseys with the blue pants.
Look at this middle of the field. You see this Kiv just in a cover 2 look as his linebackers manned up on a receiver and the running back. He's just sending the goons.
And nowhere to go as Taylor will wrap him up back at the 16. He'll actually lose a yard.
Yeah, this style of defense from Kiv, it just forces you to attack that middle of the field where he's often lurking around with his user defender. And when you're messing with Kiv's user defender, you're playing with fire.
Rodgers,
the playmaker,
has some room.
Oh, he's off! It's Dawkins!
The former Clemson Tiger and newly inducted to the Hall of Fame just came up big for Kiv.
Oh, the trajectory on that pass just devastating for Mike. It looked like the playmaker got him plenty of room up the field. Kiv reacts to it, gets the interception with Dawkins, and that was a huge play. And now he's, almost on his horse, Scott.
Shaquem Griffin saved a touchdown. Look at this again.
Look at this. He's down, comes, bluff. I'm going back. Not enough arc on it. Give me the Yixin user lurk. You heard of jiu-jitsu, that sticks to. And now Kiv with a commanding position to come away with this game. But again, Scott, he needs to find a way to get himself in the end zone, make this 3 possessions, and continue to let that clock tick like he's doing. Mike is still dangerous here. This game is not over, especially if he can hold Kiv to 3.
Keep it a 2-score game. That's got to be what Mike's thinking. If Kiv can put a touchdown in here, he's going to be going to San Francisco and representing the Seahawks. That's how big these next 17 yards are.
This could be 4-down territory for the Kiva. He's already up 2 possessions. I know the field goal makes it 2 touchdowns, but he really might be trying to put Mike away.
Oh,
it doesn't need it.
Down.
Doesn't need it.
First down to Deion Sanders. And now it's going to be 1st and goal from the 10.
That was a great example, Scott. We always say, oh, they all run the same stuff. It's a young bunch, whatever. You might run the same play, but you run it a ton of different ways. Kiv mixes in the hitch route right there. You haven't seen it from him all day. Gets it in a crucial situation, and that's why he's the young Kiva. He cooks him up when he needs him.
So 1st and goal now. Marcus Allen off to the right of the left-handed Michael Vick. Hands it off to Marcus, and he'll lose a yard.
And you see the difference between Kiv and Decroft. Kiv not snapping that ball until there's 1 second left on the play clock, taking all the time that he can. As long as that clock's ticking, he knows that he's doing the right thing, and that's veteran experience right there from young Kiv.
Needs to take this under 30. Push this thing to the 4th quarter. He can keep the clock running here on 2nd and goal.
Needs to be careful, though, and not get too conservative.
I think he's playing for 3 here. He might get the touchdown.
He's
in there.
Oh, and look at the emotion of the Kiva. He knows how big that was. Coltrane to go up 3 possessions against the undefeated phenom K Mike. And we might be seeing young Kiv getting over the hump to represent his Seattle Seahawks. That was huge.
3-score game now. And it's up, and it is good. We know Kim is incredible on offense, but his defense has come to play. I mentioned before, he's ranked in the top 5 in both run and pass defense. And what a play by Marcus Allen.
I was thinking, Kiv, you got to be careful, not get too conservative. I was thinking maybe he'd run the ball, take it to the 4th quarter, and then try a pass. Look at that emotion. But instead goes to run to take it to the 4th quarter, gets an opening. Marcus Allen does what he does and gives Kiv the 3-possession game.
26. Zoom. Good.
1st and 10 at the 16. Mike needs a miracle. Almost picked off.
Almost. Yeah, Mike has got himself in some deep waters right here. And this drive is critical, Scott. It's already a long shot for him to come back and win, but it's not completely out there. But getting points on this drive is going to be so significant if he wants that comeback story to be a thing.
Gets it there to Dallas Clark. It's going to be just short. It's going to be 3rd and 1.
He's going to try to get a playoff before the end of the 3rd quarter. And you got to be careful. Sometimes you rush these type of plays, Scott, and you get blown up. Yeah, there it is.
He'll go to the air.
It's locked up.
And
it's locked up.
Lattimore's got him completely blanketed. We're going to start the 4th quarter. It's going to be 4th and 1.
I've been in that situation a ton of times. Got the clock's ticking. You're down. You want to make sure you get the playoff before the end of the 3rd quarter. But sometimes you end up rushing it. And that's what happened to Mike right there.
And
Big
there is
play.
Clark. That'll pick up the 1st down. Needed that.
On 4th and 1 too, Scott. That's scary to get out there and slang the rock on that 4th and short, but that's what he needs to do.
Rodgers fires. Rice has got some room, doesn't have the speed, but he gets it to midfield. Clock on the move.
Hey, check 26.
Clock, the thing here, Scott, is that clock still ticking. You see it. Less than 5 minutes left for Mike to complete this comeback. He's going to need to start getting points in more of a hurry. Oh, and that's a sack!
Huge sack. As Taylor gets in there again, his 2nd sack of the game.
And yes, that's Jason Taylor. We have legends in Mutt.
Yeah, Liz.
Long-time Miami Dolphin. And there is Coleman out of the backfield. That's a new wrinkle, and it'll be 3rd and 2. Boy, he needed that one.
It's good to get Coleman out of the backfield and attack that middle of the field. Kiv is accounting for so many routes over that middle of the field. You really got to make him make a decision.
Boy, in that time, he had no one in the middle of the field. No routes coming across the middle, and here's 4th in the game.
It's hard when that pressure's coming. You usually want to attack the middle. You like that running back on the streak. You're tight end on the drag. But Kiv is sending the goons time and time again, so you need to end up keeping these guys into block. And that's why he feels comfortable trying to take away so much with one defender, because a lot of times there's only 3 routes on the field.
Watch for the drag. Oh!
What a read.
Good find down there at the 26. I was going to say the drag or the flat. He goes right up the seam for the 1st down.
This is big, Mike. I mean, still plenty of time left in this game, continuing to move the ball. If he can get a touchdown in the 2-point conversion,
58.
keep himself with the 3 timeouts, keep himself with the 2-minute warning. I mean, Kiv's going to be in a situation where it's not a give me.
And Coleman forced out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
Kiv looking phenomenal in this nickel defense, though, just continuing to make Mike chip away, not giving up the big plays, guarding the deep crosses, looking at the drags himself.
And there's another sack. This time it's Amos swagging around. That'll bring up a 3rd and 14.
And Kiv said it. He called it before the event. He said, Amos is my guy that gets a lot of pressure. I blitzed that nickel back. We know the nickel back blitz has been a huge tactic in competitive Madden for a long time now. So he doesn't spend a lot of his cap on the pass rushers as he's expecting that blitz to be where the pressure comes from.
Confirmed from RG that Kiv is a huge Nickelback fan. Well, look at this photograph down at the 1-yard line. Got to punch it in here. I mean, 4 tries at it right here.
If you're Mike, you got to get some urgency in here. Speed it up. Hopefully for him, he can run a goal line, maybe sneak it in, get a quick score. And it'll be interesting to see if he decides to go for 2 right away. I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch. He still needs to get into the end zone here. You know Kiv's going to have sneak D.
Hand it off, and he's going to lose a few. This is the problem when you have Coleman.
And that was that power O we saw Mike run earlier in the event that he took for a big touchdown. Instead, it gets blown up right there. And the big thing about that blow up is now instead of the 1-yard line, you're on the 3-yard line, so QB sneak becomes irrelevant, and Kiv no longer has to worry about that.
That's the difference between a Coleman or a Fournette or a Marcus Allen. He's going to empty out the backfield here on 2nd and goal. Clock really a factor right now. And he throws
the
a pick.
kid has marked him!
Bye, Felicia. This one is over. Kim will fall down in the end zone for the touchback, but it's Sean Taylor who ends up clenching it for Kiv. And he knows he's finally done it.
And you got to be happy for young Kiv. It's been so long in the making. Big play right there by that right outside linebacker, out of position, 51 cap, Sean Taylor. And if you're in the club championship, look out. You got a young Kiv you're probably going to have to deal with.
Boy, quick throw here. It's user all the way. No click on. He started with Taylor. He ended with Taylor.
And that blitz-heavy scheme, Scott, it's just a lot for people to deal with. You're going to have to make Kiv make a bad decision with his user defender, and that's just not going to be easy to do. Kiv stays in bounds, very smart right there.
2-minute warning here. I think Mike still knows anything can happen here. In our eyes, it's GG's.
Yeah, unless something drastic happens.
I've also
GG's in the chat.
I also remind you of a Kiv Drini Madden challenge that got wild real quick. I'm not expecting that. I'm just giving you both ends of the spectrum. And here's a big 4th and 9.
Regardless, the Seattle Seahawks have to be thrilled that year after year they have 2 elite competitors like Mike and Kiv that can constantly show up, try to rep your great organization, do you justice in the tournament. And you know what? Either one of these guys you send into that field of 32, you're going to have a really good chance, and they're going to have a phenomenal chance with young Kiv representing them in that club championship event.
It all starts on January 30th, live from the brand new Madden studios in San Francisco. I'm excited to see it. I've seen a few renderings, seen a few pictures, but it's nothing like seeing it for the first time for the real time.
I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. If you're in the chat, let us know if you're looking forward to that event. If you have any favorites, who do you think who's going to win that event? I want to know. I always go back and read the chat. Love seeing your guys' comments. Let us know.
We are going.
This is it for Mike. You need everything to go right for you right now. And there's Moss down at the 10.
That was a route we saw Mike get George with a lot throughout the game. The problem was during this game, he just didn't have the time to let those routes develop. Even right there, you see him under heavy pressure. Kiv's blitz has just been all over Mike. And there it is some more.
Another Stevie, and there's my man Brian Dawkins.
Covering the ball, swagging around. Takes advantage of the bird box read. And that's going to be the game right there, Scott.
GG's to Mike. His first loss in all of the club championship. He is 19-1, and Kim has finally done it. He's finally climbed the mountain there in Seattle, and he is your Madden 19 Seattle Seahawks club champion. We will see him next week. He's going over there already getting the belt from Rico. And what more can you say about it?
Oh, man, young Kiv. I mean, shout out to K-Mike. He's just been a phenomenal competitor for years on the scene. But today is young Kiv's day. You got to be so thankful for him. I'm going to start calling him Brock Lesnar because he ended the Undertaker streak. And you know what? Seattle's got a true champion. Kiv has finally gotten over the hump. He told me years ago, why won't K-Mike let me be great? Well, guess what, Kiv? You are now continuing to be great, and we can't wait to see you in the club championship looking to get that $100,000.
Well, my guy Rico, he's standing by with the champ.
Thanks, Scott. Kiv, you're holding that belt. How does it feel?
feels awesome. I finally won the Seahawks Club Championship. It's been 3 years now. Killer Mike got the best of me the last 2 times, but luckily I was prepared, and I felt really good going into that game. I prepared for him the most because he had beaten me twice in a row, and it showed on the game.
In your earlier games, you were having a little bit of trouble kicking. It didn't look like luck was on your side, and we know in the past games you've had a little bit of issues with luck. How did you feel in that final game?
I felt good. Luckily for me, I didn't really have to be in any bad situations for some bad luck to go against me, and my defense was playing really good, and I was just controlling the ball on offense. So didn't really have any luck going into the game.
Now we see you have that belt. You're on your way to the club championships to try to get another belt. What are you going to do to get ready for that?
Just prepare for these next, I think it's like 10 days or something like that. Just prepare, play the game a lot. I got to be ready for everything. I got to be ready for trips, tight end bunch, everything. You're going to see so many different offenses and defenses with this single elimination format, playing whoever. So just got to be as prepared as I can be and play my A game. Hopefully I can get the big belt.
All right, and there you have it, our 2019 Seattle Club Champion. We're going to go back to RG and Scott to bring us on home.
All right, thank you so much, Rico. Well, he's finally done it, right? He's got a long resume for a youngster, but that's one that he knew he wanted to cement, and he's done it here today.
Yeah, it's been a journey for him for a long time, and you know Kiv has gone through a lot these last few years. It's got to feel so good for him to get that hump off his back. You know, his best friend, True Boy, is up above watching him. Just couldn't be more happy for his friend, and I couldn't be more happy for young Kiv. He puts in a lot of work into this. He makes it look easy, but it's not. He truly puts his heart into this. He's a great member of the community, and the Seattle Seahawks have a true champion going to represent them. And if you're in that club championship, you better go watch this footage because he is going to be a force to be reckoned with like he always is. I can't wait for that event, and it was an honor and a privilege to be here with you, Scott. Thank you to the Seahawks, and I can't wait to continue this season and call some John Madden football for you guys.
Well, yeah, anytime the Seahawks are doing something, just count us in. We'd love to be a part of it because unbelievable stuff. Let's take a look at these highlights real quick, RG, of how Kiv got it done. A dominating defense performance where it was a safety, a couple field goals, and a ton of interceptions.
Yeah, and this is the one that started it off. On Mike's first possession, gets the hit on Aaron Rodgers, throws the duck, gets the interception, turns it to 3, and then on Mike's next possession, gets the safety. That was huge during this game. That safety really gave Kiv a lot of momentum, and then right here,
that clinched it.
That clinched it. That was such a big interception. The receiver looked open, but when you're messing with young Kiv's lurk, you never know what you're going to get into. And then he's just trying to run the ball there to take it to the fourth quarter. Gets the touchdown to go up 3 possessions, shows the emotion, and here it was right there.
That was it. That will do it. It was Sean Taylor with a big interception, and Kiv is the champ. This is how he got it done, with a big win over D. Croft. That was probably one of the toughest games he's had in a couple seasons against D. Croft. Big George came up short against Mike, and then finally in the 3-match, young Kiv finally beats Mike. That's Mike's first loss ever in the club championship. Tons of respect for Mike, but Kiv finally got it done.
Yep, and happy for him and happy for all of these competitors. D. Croft, though he didn't make it, he made a name for himself, showed phenomenal stick work. Big George was awesome. We know we'll see K-Mike again. I love the MCS. I love this game, and I just can't wait to see it continue, grow, get better, and we all just get to watch some virtual John Madden football and have a good time, get the glory, make some money while we're doing it. Good times.
I'm okay with all that. All that you said right there, I'm okay with. So young Kiv and the Seattle Seahawks are going to join the other 32 teams. That's happening next week, January 30th all the way through the 2nd. We'll be rocking and rolling every day at 3 p.m. They're in the brand new studios. They're in San Francisco. I'm excited to see it. No Skimbo, but we might have Skimbo join us on the broadcast. Remember, he came up short for your New England Patriots, so that'll be a treat. We have a ton of new broadcast talent. We'll see some new faces. It's going to be phenomenal. For RG and Rico, I'm Scott Cole. It's been our pleasure again. Appreciate the Seattle Seahawks. We'll see you guys down the road at the Club Championship.
Welcome to the 2018 Madden Challenge. I'm Steve Rabel, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. This year, Seahawks cornerback Shaquille Griffin is back to defend his title as he takes on his brother and Seahawks linebacker Shaquem Griffin. But we've got a little twist. Let's head inside the indoor practice facility at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center as the brothers learn exactly how the challenge will go down.
What's going on here? Oh, wow. This is, wait, this is not the same type of game we're used to playing, but I guess we can. 93? I don't even know how to use, I don't remember how to use these. You easy go like this. Yeah. That's good. Should be good to go. Should be good to go. Okay. You know, it's the power. Yeah. That thing good. Power. Come on, bro.
It's a Griffin versus Griffin, Seattle versus Seattle Madden face-off, but from 1993, a full 2 years prior to the twins being born. To the kingdom we go.
Oh!
So the captains are out to the center of the field. Shaquem in the blue jersey, Shaquille in the white. There's the toss of the coin. It comes up heads, and that means Shaquille will get the ball first.
I think so. Whoa. But that kick is
here we go.
terrible.
The kickoff from the 40-yard line. Number 4 strides forward. The right footer boots in play. A short kick.
I bet, homie.
And the return
trying to
man
run the
is
ball.
dropped.
That's why I'm blitzing.
1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Single setback out of the shotgun formation. Quarterback takes the snap. Number 18 looks, spins around. Now he hits the ground, falls down, but he gets back up and moves to the left side, being chased.
Let's go!
Oh,
I'm trying to throw it. 12-yard loss, man. What a sack, man. It's a sack. What down it is? 3rd and forever.
So after a false start at the 24-yard line,
come for the
3rd
sack.
down and 22, trips right, shotgun formation, deep throw, number 18 all the way downfield to number 86. It's 16 yards,
game.
but
It don't
not
matter,
quite
man.
enough
Put
for
the
a
ball,
first
bro.
down.
Put the ball, bro. I know how to throw now. I'm on your 40. Come on, King. Let's have a game, bro. That's what I'm talking about, bro. 16-yard game seems too easy, huh?
On the fly. The defensive line cannot get set. They were trying to audible. Number 18, the quarterback, looking downfield again, throws it one more time deep and in between two defenders. A 19-yard pickup all the way down to the 42-yard line.
Yeah. Man, no, bro. I had 30 people on you, bro.
2nd down and 10 from the 14-yard line. Quarterback gets some set up, trip set, single setback.
Sack nation.
Roll left, stop, look, throw back
Sack
to the right
nation.
side.
Interception.
Picked off near the end
You gotta
zone,
go.
picked off and brought out, and that is the end of the
first quarter. Okay, good.
With no score.
Give us another
0-0,
opportunity for us
Shaquem
to
and Shaquem.
make some shake. Hey, how you open up the ball? I ain't helping you no more, bro. Here I come.
Number 18
safety
goes inside. Number 32.
How did that go to the goal
In fact, tackled in the end zone by number 96 for a safety.
You got 2 points, and you got 0. You gotta be great. Yeah, go get him.
Chase once again. Stop. Throw back across the field. Number 86 makes the catch.
I'm about to score, man.
I'm
driving. It's not 100 yards. I'm driving, boy. Go, man. Field is way too short. I'm driving the ball, boy. You better figure it out.
This will be from about the 22. Here comes the blitz. Quarterback rolling out to the left side. Looks, throws to the end zone. Got a man there. Touchdown! Touchdown, Shaquille Griffin's team as the dance goes on.
It's all right, though.
And a dance it is, and Shaquille is on the board first.
I could help you. I really could. You want me to tell you after the game? Come to get it.
Shotgun formation once again. Shaquem's team. Now the roll left. Number 79 coming off the edge.
Oh, man. Get me in the end zone. Get me in the end zone. You know why they booing me like that? Yeah, you sorry. You'll figure it out, brother.
Time is running out in the first half. Will they go for a field goal? No, looks like they're going to come out of the huddle with the offense. 18 right drops back, looking to throw the ball inside. Does, finds number 22 into the end zone for a touchdown.
It's so
with that touchdown,
it's so bad. I broke so good on that. I was like, you know what? I know this pick. I broke so good on this play.
Taking a look at the halftime stats, Shaquille leading Shaquem 9-7. Look at the rushing attack. -17 for Shaquille and -4 yards for Shaquem. Nobody seems to have an advantage trying to run the football. So Shaquem's
Yeah,
team
running
gets
from
the
this.
ball to start this second half.
My
and
ball.
They have it 1st and 10
My ball.
from their own 26-yard line.
It's my
Once
ball.
again, quarterback takes the snap. Number 18 drops back 7, looks downfield again down the seam, and he's got his receiver, number 89, wide open.
When he's going back there, he don't know what to do.
No route's crazy. I know it.
Single setback. 18 takes the snap, reaches out, falls down short of the 40-yard line. He's sacked, in fact, by number 79, who just got a fingertip on him for an 8-yard
You got to make a play, brother. Let me get back on my dude. 90, he balling too.
You got to be great. It's all right, though. I ain't even tripping. We ain't going to.
I know your scheme now. I know your scheme.
I don't know what to do, man. He can't even drive down the field, man. It's pathetic.
He got this jam,
It's pathetic.
A little bit of a roll, looks back to the middle, it's intercepted.
Let's go.
Ball's picked off. Number
You gotta
96
slide.
was just sitting
You
there
gotta
right in
slide.
the middle of the field, and he picks off the pass.
Yeah, come on,
He's
man. Come
tackled
on, D.
right away,
We
but
give him
Shaquem's
chances,
team
y'all. Come on.
comes up with the
D
ball.
got the
on
ball back
nice
for you. What you
play
gonna do with
on
it?
The interception right in the
We
middle
gonna
of the
score.
field.
We going to score.
That's them talking? Yeah.
We going to score.
And that
know
will bring
you're
us to
going.
the end of the third quarter. At the end of 3, Shaquille leads Shaquem 9-7.
There you go. We're going to the end zone. We're
First
going
and
to the end
goal
zone.
from the 8. Shotgun formation, throw to the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown
Bad call,
by number
Coach.
30 in the back left corner of the end zone. So the score, Shaquem leading
Not good
Shaquille
enough.
14-9. 1st and 10 from the 33. Single running back, 18 rolling left. Throws the ball, it's picked off.
Killing
Picked
him.
off by number 96. That's the
Nah,
second
killing him.
penalty of the
Not
game.
3 interceptions.
Taunts the
Killing
receiver
him.
just
I'm
a little
jumping
bit.
all
Could end
route.
up getting a flag on that.
He might just let
but
me
a nice
have it
play
then.
on defense by
Hand
number
it over.
96.
Hand it over.
We got this.
18 comes out this time in a shotgun formation. Gonna look, drop back. Gonna look to throw to the end zone. He does. It is intercepted in the end zone. Number 41 with a
Oh, my
big
goodness.
interception in the end zone. He's gonna come
There's
out
no way,
for
bro.
the
Like,
touchback.
There's no way I can't let this man just
Under
drive in the
3
field and
minutes
win,
remaining
bro.
in the game. 1st and 10 from the 28.
Oh, it's over, it's
Getting
over,
out of the
it's
huddle.
over,
Could this
it's
be the
over,
last
it's
play?
over.
Calling an audible at the line of scrimmage.
Get back.
Number 18 is going to roll to his left.
No.
Throw from behind the line of scrimmage.
They're doing
He's
it.
setting up a screen. He's tackled in the backfield, and that is going to be the end of the game. Coming out on top, Shaquem over Shaquille, 14-9.
Champ, baby. No matter what year it is. Our own man. Champ. I want to thank everybody who believed in me, who knew all this was possible. He thought he was going to win, you know, but it's all about finish. It's not the way you start, it's the way you finish. And we finished strong, and that's why he lost 14-9.